up, stranger?
Stress. Been looking for work.
What you looking for?
2 ounces of hard white.
Bitch.
People are always asking me, Kiki, the books that you write, is that about you? Is that about your life? I used to rob drug dealers. I used to traffic drugs. I was a savage. I used to get it, and I didn't care who I got it from.
I've been looking for you for 2 weeks. Where is my money?
And now I can sit here and show you guys a glimpse of my life before I turned it around.
I'm gonna ask you one more time, Kiki. Think harder, right? Where's my goddamn money at?
Mrs. Santana, you look stunning. What are you wearing? And tell us about this new venture in the fashion industry.
I'm wearing a piece from my own line. It's called Kais, designed by my brilliant partner and friend, Karen Blackwell.
Wow. Look at Adriana Santana. She's hot. I don't see Lewis anywhere, though. I noticed Sheldon Chisholm and his family are here. Not to mention the other half-dozen criminals in here.
Oh, no, you don't. We're here to have fun.
But why are you here alone? Where's your recently acquitted husband, Louis?
Louis is back home resting. He has his share of bright lights and cameras. We just want to leave that whole thing behind us.
No work today. We've been here for 5 minutes and you're already profiling people? Come on now.
And what else are you looking to see tonight?
All of my friends and to show off her brilliant work. Everything that you're about to see.
We can't wait for it.
The only reason I invited you is because you're my best friend and we never get to spend time together. Plus, you're killing it in that dress. Here comes Jess. I wanted to introduce you to.
When you done?
Roger that.
Then why do you have it?
She told me to keep it!
I'll be out in a minute. Stop with the lies!
He's a very flashy Haitian with a penchant for violence. He's no one to play with, Haitian.
Where's my goddamn money at?
Sakura is dead.
Play with me again. I'm tired of hearing you talk all the time. Save it. Save it.
She's my friend. She's my friend.
But I will not give up. I will not give in. And I will not get caught. Time to go hunting.
And the winner is Wes Clark. Congratulations.
Yes, she's my mother.
Rock stars. There is nothing like those wild, rebellious party animals. Entry number 60.
When I decided to pursue acting, I never thought it was this difficult after weeks of being homeless, jobless, sleeping on my friends' couches. I'm finally here!
Just take care
What are you
of
doing?
yourself.
Shh.
What's going on?
Tribe, they're
Terry.
coming.
Where have you been? I've been calling you on your cell phone all day.
At work.
Faith wake up dope sick, fiending for a snip. Left the house, ain't tell her husband she was gone, she just dipped.
Why is it that you are taking large sums of money out of our account every single day?
While her family's at home, she's out there chasing that high. Roaming up and down the block, she run into this pimp guy. He's conversating with her, asked her if she tryna make cash. Next thing you know, she's in front of the pink house selling the ass. Then she gets dope sick again. She need that boy, so she out there searching again. She's tired of her life, for years she done wrong. Now she wanna do right, she go to rehab to get the help she need. And she tell her family,
I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax. Probably more infamous.
I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuzetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanchu.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh my God, you're such a good...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem. You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
Up, y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the counsel on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. What's going on? Welcome back. We are back. Real Talk with the Director of the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk's brought to you each and every Monday by B2S Media. And we broadcast via the World Wide Web live here on YouTube.com/IE Network TV, the IE Network. And Twitter, aka X, also IG. Hello to my IG people over there, Instagram, and of course the social network itself, Facebook. What's going on, people? Thanks for joining us. Coming back, we have a pretty packed show today. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of topics, some sensitive, all sensitive, because you know what? If you're fans of certain things that we'll be talking about, it might be sensitive to you. Might be personal. We got a few topics, that one particular topic that I really want to discuss because it has been viral all over social media, and I actually made a comment on one of the posts, and it's since then it's probably gotten some of the most comments and responses that I've gotten in a long time from making one comment. So anyway, we'll talk about that. That is the Judy Garland post that went around, went viral because it was a post of her in at a young age, right before, around the same age she did The Wizard of Oz, but allegedly before she did The Wizard of Oz, she did another film where she appeared in blackface. And there's a lot of circumstances, I'm sure, surrounding it. And yeah, so it's been the topic of discussion a lot on the social media front. And I want to bring that to the council and see what people think about that, and see what you think, people out there. We'll go over it, talk about it. There's a lot of things to keep in the context here. Judy Garland, as we know, the actress who, obviously made her biggest fame in The Wizard of Oz as Dorothy, the movie. So a lot of people may or may not know any of this stuff. There's a lot of things you may not know about Judy Garland, and we'll bring that to light. The good, the bad, and the very, very ugly. So we'll talk about that. So putting the disclaimer up right now. Yeah, we will be talking racial situations and based on this content, but it's something that needs to be talked about. So the question I ask is, given her past, and we'll like I said, I'll go into more detail. Given her past with Hollywood and abuse allegedly and things like that, does Judy Garland get a pass for this? And not just that, because I mean, hey, whether she gets a pass or not, she's already, she's been dead for many, many years. So I'm just really interested in hearing, when I made my comment, I'm interested in hearing so many people's opinions on the situation. Some people are saying, well, you're judging her because you shouldn't judge her, because she was young and she didn't have any control over what she did. And, all that stuff is probably true, right? But I'll go into detail about that post. Also, other topics, a lot of topics we have today. Another one is that's one of the main ones, but we're gonna go and another thing that's been circulating the internet. Casting the character of Storm for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been a few things circulating, and it's been that way for years. Fan castings circulating. I went and did a deep dive on a particular 10 actors that were fan casted, and it was like the top 10 actresses or actors that would play Storm in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I looked into all of them, deep dive, and I'm going to go over them today. I'm going to let people know my top 10 of those women. I have other people outside of that, but I wanted to stick to those women because that's been circulating and stuff like that. So that should be fun. We'll get the council's opinions as well. Marvel's Blade. Now, this is a film that has been announced years ago that it's coming, it's going to happen. Mahershala Ali, Academy Award winning Mahershala Ali was cast as the character Blade. And since then, this movie has been a nightmare of just problems, rewrites, recasts, rehires, or replacements, as far as like directors has left the project, got replaced. Several writers. It's been about 5 to 6 writers, different drafts of the script, all types of stuff. Stars leaving and coming, and you have to start wondering now, is this movie even gonna happen? So I want to bring up some of the stuff about that. Also, we'll do a quick movie review this week. That will be of the action comedy, The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. So we'll talk a little bit about that, give a quick little review, and I'm going to reveal some of the players that we're going to have in our new tournament, the Battle of the Best Movie Songs. Now, when I say movie songs, I don't mean theme songs. Like these are songs that were for a movie, most of them made for a movie, some of them not, but they are synonymous with the movie. So, for instance, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. When you hear that song, you don't forget about The Breakfast Club. You think about The Breakfast Club. So I compiled a list of, once again, 64 songs, and I used, I did a lot of research as far as songs that were, criteria as far as songs that were hits in the top in the top 100 Billboard and top 10 hits. And this is how I rank them. And then from the ranks, we do the brackets like the NCAA tournament, and it will be the battle of the movie songs. I want to go over that today. I'm going to reveal a lot of the ones that I came up with. We may replace a few if the council could come up with some that I might have missed or some that might be better, and we'll go over the rules on that. But that is our day for today. So we're going to get into that. It's going to be packed with stuff, a lot of stuff. We thank y'all for hanging out with us. Shout out to the chat room. What's up, chat room? Let me just say, what up, chat room? Everyone comes through. Check you out. Shout out to our people over on Facebook, people over on Instagram. What's going on? We appreciate you for joining us live on Instagram. Hopefully, Instagram, they have been real suspect with me these last few weeks. They've been mad at me. They don't like when, whenever we say things that they don't like, they immediately cut my feet. So we'll try to be as diplomatic as possible, but at the same time, this is real talk. And yes, it is REEL talk, but it's still REAL talk because we keep it both as a double entendre. We keep it real, we keep it real. So we'll be talking about a few things that, Instagram may not like what we say, but we'll try our best to, be sensitive to all your sensitive people. So anyway, moving forward, the weekend recap brought to you by boxofficemojo.com for the weekend of May 31st through June 2nd. Number 5, The Fall Guy. Ironically, we just said that made another 4.2 million, bringing the total to 158 million worldwide. That's The Fall Guy. Then we have number 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Made another 9 million, bringing the worldwide total to $337 million worldwide gross. Then you have number 3 is If. Imaginary Friend, If. That's the Ryan Reynolds film, and it is 10.5 million over the weekend. It just opened. It opened on May 17th, bringing the film to a worldwide total of $137 million. This film did way better domestically than internationally. Doesn't happen often, but it happens. Number 2 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. Made 10 million, bringing the worldwide total to $114 million. So as you know, when we were last on here, we made predictions, which we were all very off on our predictions for the gross of Furiosa. I wasn't sure how good it was going to do, but the opening was not anywhere near where we thought or said it would be. But there you go. And number 1 for this week, the Garfield movie. Okay, that made how much did it make over the weekend? It made 14 million over the weekend, bringing the worldwide total. It opened on the 24th, bringing the worldwide total to $152 million worldwide. So the Garfield movie, which we did predict might hurt Furiosa, it actually did, because it came out and it surpassed Furiosa at $154 million worldwide. So that is your weekend recap. We'll talk about that too. That's your weekend recap for the weekend of May 31st, basically Memorial Day weekend, May 31st to June 2nd. And there you go. Brought to you by boxofficemojo.com. So once again, we are here. You are there. We agree. We appreciate you joining us. I also got a chance to see an indie film over the weekend. Intrusion. I can't say it right. Shout out to the filmmakers and actors, cast and crew of the film Intrusion, and I'm saying Intrusion, Intrusive. Excuse me. Sorry about that, messing your name up. It was called Intrusive. And shout out to them. Also, one of my partners in grind, I call them, Devin Troublesome Smith, he did from Deuce Benny Productions, he did the cinematography in that film. That's why I went out. I pulled up to show support, and I enjoyed the film. And congratulations to the cast and crew. We hopefully get some of them on the show to get some interviews and things of that nature. And we'll review the movie and all that other stuff. So shout out to the cast, crew, and producers of Intrusive. All right. I'm sure it's going to be coming to a streaming platform near you sometime in the near future. We'll get back to you on that. But we appreciate all of you over here checking us out. And I am the director, and my Jedi Council is here with me. And here they are. Ralph, Kev, y'all in the building. Thank you very much for joining us.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody tonight?
What's up, Ralph? Man, thank you, sir. Bro. So Furiosa did not do what we expected. Nowhere near.
Nowhere. I was totally stunned. I was like, my God, it's like I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say.
Yeah.
It's not really,
I know
it's
Kev.
nothing really to say. It did what it was supposed to do, going up against Garfield, and
Yeah, but it
really said that, 2 weeks ago.
I mean, we said it was going to hurt it, but we didn't think it was going to hurt it that bad. I mean, it opened May 24th. We know that. I mean, the opening day, that's just the day, not the weekend, but the opening day was 3,800 theaters and $26 million. That right there hurt it. And then going forward for the weekend, what did it make over that weekend? Well, I just said what it made over the whole weekend. And yeah, man, 10 days, 1 week in release. 49 million domestic, 65 million international thus far, and it's only been out 10 days. But that's how much it's made. That's not good. That's not good numbers.
I think it'll do well in Australia because Mad Max is it's based in Australia.
Big.
It'll do well when it gets there. But
yeah,
I mean, I really thought that even with Garfield, even if I was wrong, I was thinking maybe 70, 75. I said 90 plus. But I think it's 70, 75. But it didn't even crack 40. That is horrible.
Well, it cracked 40, 49 domestic, almost 50, 49.7.
I'm talking about in the opening weekend.
Opening weekend. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It didn't even crack 40 the opening weekend. So it's at 49 now. No, that and I saw Furiosa. I like Furiosa. I mean, it was slow at first, but when it got going, it started going. But I was just floored, and even I saw like when I went to go see it, it was half full, which was I think it was a matinee show, and it was half full. I was like, oh, okay, all right, impressive. But I don't know what happened, man. But
day one, it says here day one it made 10 million Friday, opening 3,800 theaters. That was day one. Day two it went down. It never went up. So from Friday it made 10 million. Saturday, the 25th, it made 8 million. Sunday, it made 7 million. And Monday, Memorial Day, it only made 6 million. So Memorial Day, we were kind of anticipating it not making a lot because of Garfield, right? But 6 million that's not good. That's not good. And from that point on, it went down, and then on the 31st, it picked back. So it went 2 million, 1 million, 1 million, then picked back up at 3 million, then 4 million, and back to 3 million as of yesterday. So that's how we came up with the numbers that we have, or that they have for it. And yeah, it's definitely that or not. That's not the numbers. And now going into it's it's been technically 10 days in release, so at this point, it ain't gonna get much better.
Mm-mm.
It ain't gonna get much better. So they're looking at, if they're lucky, they're looking. I mean, they're at 114 worldwide, so they may not even break 150 at this rate. And it's gonna take.
Nah, they'll break. Nah, once they hit Australia, I'm thinking somewhere between 225, 250 is where it's going to go. And if it
total
does go there,
where it's gonna land. Okay.
yeah. But if it does, that is a failure. That is a
Yeah.
big F on. I mean, you essentially, because they were talking about doing another one that was going to end the finale in the franchise. No, Furiosa put the thumb in that one. You know, it really did. You know,
Yeah, we'll see where it lands.
Unless you do Furiosa again, where it is Charlize Theron, and you bring.
I'm
back
about to say
Tom Hardy.
maybe bringing back Charlize Theron might help. I think
you need.
Now,
I think you need Tom Hardy.
This girl they got here, she was obviously, she's a good actress and all that stuff, but I don't know. I can't explain what happened, but I think if they do another one, they have to bring back Charlize Theron to kind of make up.
They honestly don't have a choice, because the way the movie ends, and I hate to spoil it, but it needs to be spoiled because you're not gonna go see it anyway. But it ends into Fury Road. I mean, it literally ends. If you stuck around for the end credits, they go into Fury Road. So now you have to pick it up to where she comes back to the compound with the sirens. So you gotta bring Charlize Theron back. Now the question is, do you bring back Tom Hardy? That's a bigger problem, because from what I understand, there was all kinds of static between the two of them on that. Now, if you really want to make some money, you don't bring back Tom Hardy. You bring back Mel Gibson. That's Mad Max. Now people are like, whoa, because then they get the whoa factor. But
at least get him in there.
Not gonna matter what you do.
I don't know.
It's not going to matter what you do, because people are the movie landscape is different. I keep saying this. You know, people don't want, like, even the movie people business, even the heads in the movie theater business don't even want to recognize this. And this is why. Well, actually, the movie theater people, they understand it, and that's why they were trying to go with all of these different ways of making extra money, of making people pay more money for premium tickets and all this other crap, because the movie landscape isn't what it was pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, the movie theater scene is different now. They messed up and opened up too many different options on how you can enjoy movies now, and people are willing to sit at home and wait for movies to clear to come on TV rather than go to the movie theater now. It's sad.
I think that is
probably
probably number one. That is I was watching another movie show, and they said the three things that hurt Furiosa, and that one, the shrinking of the windows. Yeah, that is a big problem.
Yeah, that window. And when we say, people who are listening, when we say the windows, we mean the window time period between when a film goes to theater, comes out of the theater, and is available on digital. At this point, digital. It used to be like, I mean, I guess DVD, whatever, but digital. So and now it's available on digital before it's even out of the theaters, which to me is very counterproductive. I don't understand that at all.
The Fall Guy is already available on digital. Yep. Like, bro, it didn't even make this money back in the movie. You're already pushing off onto the secondary market, you know. And you know, and I like I said, when I was watching it,
doing that.
Reason why they're doing that is Kev, you said the reason what? I can't hear Kev now.
Kev, are you there?
No, we lost him. I mean, I can't hear you. If you're talking, we can't hear you, Kev.
I can't hear you, Kev. But But what I was
Go
saying
ahead.
was is that when I mean my second job I used to work in a movie store in a video store. The time period between when the movie came out and it came on the video was at least 6 months. You had a 6 month, and some movies waited with a year. And the question is, did waiting that long stop people from wanting to see the movie? No, but it gave smaller movies a chance to like all right. For example, the summer I went to summer '87. The big movie that summer was Beverly Hills Cop 2. You had Witch of the East with Full Metal Jacket, but then you had smaller films like, for example, Adventures in Babysitting. Adventures in Babysitting came out. Nobody knew what this movie was about, but people saw it, they liked it, and they kept coming back saying. Same thing with Dirty Dancing. They saw it, you liked it, and they kept coming back. So you had a lot of repeat business that made a movie that maybe had been in today's time. Those two movies would be bombs because nobody would go see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about this, and this is the truth. It's like this with a lot of things. Just talked about this. Shout out to Heaven Hollywood. Just talked about this with Heaven Hollywood, and I'll be discussing this on my. I have a new show coming to the channel, to the IE network. It's called Generations, where we will be discussing in forum style, kind of like debate style, like first take type of deal, where we will have a representative from every generation, someone representing boomers, someone representing Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. And we'll have a moderator there. So each one, we'll talk about topics and things like that. One of the topics we will talk about is, the change in the music era. Is the generational gap too wide now? The reason why I say that is when it comes to older school artists, Method Man and Redman just did Summer Jam. Summer Jam was, they just did that out in New York, Hot 97. And Method Man tweeted recently that this is the last time he'll be doing Summer Jam because they were out there performing, and I guess the vibe and the energy wasn't there, because all the people there were younger people and they're not really checking for Redman and Method Man. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So he said the generational gap has gotten too wide now. So as a result of that, he will not be doing any more Summer Jams. There's plenty of other shows he can do. And I mean, literally some of the youngins that was, commenting on that, you wouldn't even believe it, man. Like the generational gap makes a difference. And there are people of this generation, like the Gen Z generation, that didn't even know that Method Man was a rapper. They just know him from Power. They saw from being on Power. They thought he was an actor. They just know him from being an actor. Same thing with LL Cool J. There was a lot of them that didn't realize LL Cool J was one of the top rappers in hip hop. As we bring Kev back in, that there's a lot of them didn't even know that. So the generational gap makes a difference, and I bring that up because that's also affecting films. It really is. It's affecting films as opposed to like certain film stars, certain film tones. Like you said, going to the movies, and it trickles down from the we're living in a now generation. This generation wants everything now. That's why the window gap is closed. That's why films are available to people more quicker than they used to be. It will never go back to what it was. They may widen it a little bit, maybe for the sake of saving the studios, but it's never going back to 6 months. Now, like, that's never happening again, because we're in a generation now. This is a now generation. They want their content, and that's what the Russo brothers said. Russo brothers said it. They said one of the reasons why they felt I don't know. That's why I'm not sure if that's why they stopped making Marvel movies. I mean, their contract was up, but they never re-upped. But they said they feel one of the reasons why Marvel movies aren't doing as well as they was. One of the reasons, I'm not saying the only reason, is the way people want their content now. It's a different way. of delivering content to people. They want it now. They want to see, you know, they're not as willing to go out and experience it in a movie theater when they know that all they really have to wait is, you know, a month, a
30
couple
days.
months. Yeah, 30 days, a month
30
or so.
days.
And it's available to them. So and people who really are tech savvy and know what they're doing, they can get it before that if they go through the if they go through the whatever you want to call it, black market, whatever, you know,
That
they can
fire
get
stick,
it.
that fire stick
Yeah,
thing.
bro, they can get it almost immediately. So it all depends on the type of person you are, tech savviness, and all of this stuff. It's a lot of factors, but both of you are correct when it comes to, you know, things have changed. The movie business have changed from the way people consume content now. So that's never going back, yo. Those days are over. 6 months, all that's over. Not happening ever again. If I'd be surprised if they put it back to what I think right now it's 45 days, isn't it?
Yeah, and it would have
Yeah.
to be, and it's selective by studio, but the
Yeah.
only way you can go back to that and to force people back into the movie theaters is if the whole industry collectively says, you know what, we're making you wait 6 months before these movies come back
Yeah.
to
Yeah, they
you
would
know
have to do that, but you have to make that decision if you're willing to stand on and die on that hill, stand and possibly die on that hill, because you know they're in the business of entertainment, right? They want to deliver entertainment, the studios at the end of the day. So, and on top of that, now you're cutting off your nose, spite your face, because all of these studios have streaming networks and stuff
mhm.
like that. So this is the thing, you know what I mean? From a business standpoint, now it's like, wait, what happens here? You know, should we go ahead and force people to stay in the theaters and say we're doing 6 months and that is it? Maybe someone could try that as like a what's the word I'm looking for? An
Experiment.
experiment. Yeah, maybe we could experiment that if someone has the balls to say, okay, we're gonna experiment. You know, let's just say Disney had the balls to say, we're gonna experiment with this. Our MCU movies are not coming to our platform for 6 months. Let's see if people go to the movies and watch it.
Yeah, they would.
You
But
know,
I think,
if they
but I
have,
think even with that, I think even with that statement, I think you certainly do have it where it would be a not only studio but a case by case study. If you put a movie into the theater, right? And I'll use Furiosa. If Furiosa didn't do so well, okay. For although it didn't 40 30 or $39 million opening weekend for a no for a non-marquee film, that's not bad. Maybe it does have legs. You at least leave it out there 3 weeks, see what it does. If it does start to bomb or really goes out, then maybe you do bring it out sooner. But if you
then you
got a
bring
movie,
yeah, it
but if you
should
got a
be
movie
case
that
by
that
case.
come out the box and it's 100 million grosser the first weekend, let it play. Look,
As the
listen.
youngins say, let it cook. Let them cook. Let them cook.
Listen. When Star Wars comes out, when Star Wars came out, not even the original, but the prequel, it played for 3 months straight in theaters. Now, no matter whether they changed it from a big theater to theater, but it had a guarantee it would play at least 12 weeks. That's 12 weeks to make some money. And like I just said with Adventures in Babysitting, that summer I worked in movie theater. Adventures in Babysitting, Adventures in Babysitting, Spaceballs, and RoboCop played the entire summer. They didn't once they got there, they didn't leave. Other movies went out, and I remember Adventures in Babysitting we had actually let it go, and then around August we brought it back, right?
Yeah.
But it gave those smaller films the chance to make some money because they were movies that people saying, you know what, I don't know. And we all had those blockbuster nights. You go to see, you say, no, I don't know about this movie. Maybe not. And you say, damn, that was good. I missed that. Right.
Yeah.
I missed that movie in the theater. We didn't say we said I should have seen this on the big screen. Right. Taking the movies back, even if you say not 6 months, 3 months, 90 days. it's not going to make or break you too deep in your pockets. It's not like it's going to be a total catastrophe to happen to you if you take the next Captain America 4 that's coming out pretty soon, right? And you take it and then you have a play its run, and then at least 3 months after it comes out, and you see the amount you bring it on DVD, or you bring it to a streaming service. It's not going to kill your pockets. It's not. They did that this year, which I think they did that with the Oscar nominees. Do you know that normally when you go to the movies, you see and they have the Oscar nominees, right? The bulk of the stuff that are nominated is still in the theaters. You can go back and go see it. This year, I think this might have been one of the first years, but the bulk of the stuff was already on streaming. I ain't gotta go to the theater to go see it. I could sit home, but I want to see it in the theater.
I was surprised to see The Fall Guy already on digital. I was surprised. I just saw it not that long ago in the theater, but I was like, wow, I didn't read, and there's a lot of them that's available very quickly. But like I said, man, 90 days could be an experiment and see what happens and weigh the numbers, but you'd have to do it with a couple of things. You can't do it with just one film. You got to do it a couple. I mean, hey, if Marvel really wanted to experiment, they could do it with Deadpool. Deadpool is probably going to make money anyway at the box office because it just, it's going to. It has a big following and everyone, all of the hype behind it. It's going to make money anyway. So maybe not count that one because that's going to make money in the theaters.
But you know what? I got it this week. You're absolutely right. You should do a Deadpool. Make people wait for it. Let it play. Because first of all, Deadpool is going to make a shit ton of money the first weekend. But it's not about the first weekend. It's about the weekend after that when the continuation, right? Yeah. Let's see what it does. And once again, if it's out there for 3 months, it comes out in July. That's it. July, August, September, October, right? Nowadays, when it comes to home, I just go with DVD since it's a dying field. But now, before you used to have to duplicate all that stuff, and it took you forever to do it. Now you could do it massive by putting the DVDs. Streaming, how hard is it to take the final print and make it available? It take what, an hour, maybe 2, who knows? But it doesn't take that kind of work. Now, like before, when everything was on these big ass reels of film, right? But like I said, 30 days, 60, 90 days, is that going to really break Disney's pockets? No.
It will now because of the streaming aspect. Because now what happens is
don't even put it on streaming. Don't do nothing. Let it play for 3 months. 3 months. After the 90-day period, then you put it to other stuff. But let it stay in the theaters for 3 months. See what it does.
Yeah, but the only thing is what and that's why I said they like it has to be a consensus to where the whole industry stops and does what you're saying. Because if they don't, right now, that's hurting their streaming numbers. If they go anything more than 45 days of not letting the product come to streaming, because what happens is you get the people who are impatient, like, oh, it's not coming to streaming. Okay, I'm going to turn my streaming service off.
Right, they might cancel their streaming. Now, the one thing they don't want, because they obviously are a subscription-based streaming, you don't want to start losing. You don't want people canceling their platform, canceling their streaming. So these are like I said, because of the pandemic that kind of rushed them and that rushed everybody to making the streaming. Now it's here, right? They were going to do it anyway, but they rushed it because of the pandemic, and they rushed a lot of things going on. They had the streaming going anyway, but like I said, they put a lot into that streaming after the pandemic hit, right? So now it's like, okay, it's hard when you set expectations to take it away from people. That's going to be, especially the newer generation of moviegoers and watchers, when they're used to a certain thing, taking it away from them, how will they react? Will they rebel? Will they fall in line? That's the question. We don't know. That's what has to be an experiment.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think anybody is going to sit there and say, well, I can't have it right this second. But we have, I hate to say it, but we have spoiled the current generation with stuff. Now, like I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Listen, this weekend they were having the Star Wars marathon on, I think, FX, right? And I was telling, I said, when I went to see The Empire Strikes Back, right, 1980, opening night, the movie theater only had one screen, but so you actually had to wait outside until the screen let out, and then they let the next screen thing is. Multiplexes eliminated that, most of that. Nowadays, like Empire Strikes Back come out today, if it came out brand new today, it'd be in one movie theater, but the theater's got 19, 20 screens. It'd be on at least 16. So you eliminate all that stuff. You eliminate the idea of waiting, And I used to like that when hell, the smallest thing, when you looked in the newspaper and it said coming Friday, The Empire Strikes Back, you're like, oh damn, they had the big pictures in it, and all that stuff is gone now, because now we gotta have it now. But you know something, for this, when even as you're saying it's an experiment, you already know what it does because you've done it before. You it's not like it never existed.
You did it before though, Ralph, with a different type of people, a different generation of people. And of course, you got to remember, we as like Generation X, which is our generation, we are a very experienced generation because we were here before a lot of these things even existed. So we know what it's like to wait. We know what it's like to, whatever. So we were here before all this stuff, right? Not before movies, but we were here before streaming. We were here before Blu-ray.
We was here before cable. Let's be real. We was here before cable.
Right. So we know what it's like, and it was a treat to us either way. Speaking of cable, I was delighted to see a film that was in the movies finally come to cable. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh wow, it's on cable. Now I can watch it a bunch of times, Yeah. So, but we're dealing with a different animal now. We're dealing with different people. This generation, and I'm not crapping on the generation. I'm just saying
I will
the truth. I'm not gonna crap on them because this is what they're used to. What do we? Whose fault is it? Is it really their fault?
No,
this is what they're used to. It's not their fault.
I don't know.
It's what technology is. What?
Yeah.
Listen,
I don't know.
It's what technology. It's not their fault because it's what technology has advanced to, and unfortunately, what it is you have a lot of people. The United States used to have this saying. The United States government used to have this saying, and they still follow it, that the general public is not willing or not ready to accept technology going faster than what they're used to. This is why they proven it, but it's really not. It's really not the people. It's the older people. It's not the younger people. The younger people like us and under, are willing to fall in line. Like, oh, that's what technology is doing. Oh, that's the new thing. Got to get that. And it's been proven time and time again. Like even in the 70s, when new technology was coming out with TVs and 8 tracks was going to cassette.
Yeah.
It was a total change.
I remember when
CD. Yeah, I remember when 8 tracks were in car. There were literally 8 track players in cars.
Yeah,
I remember. My parents had a car with,
and I don't know why. I don't know why, for the love of me, those 8 tracks never rewound. It would go fast forward, but you couldn't rewind it. So you had to keep hitting the button to go back to the chapter and fast forward.
But hey, but look at that. See what you're just saying now? Technology solved that problem by making cassette tapes. You know what I'm saying? Now you can rewind it. You know what I'm saying? And then cassette tapes. Then CDs solved the problem of
wait, no, don't skip a step. Don't skip a step, because with cassettes, then came in the technology for cassettes changed, because then you had Dolby,
right?
And then on top of getting Dolby and the noise reduction, you got auto reverse. Now the tape can flip over, and you ain't even got to take it
flip
out.
over, and you don't have to take it out.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
just flips
right.
over.
That's
Yeah,
right. It just
that's
flips
a
over
new
automatically.
technology. And then that was a problem solved. CDs solved the problem of, okay, I'm playing the cassette. I want to get to the next song. How do I get to the next song instead of fast forwarding it or waiting until it goes?
Pressing the button.
Just press to the next button.
But wait, you're
Jump to
still
the
skipping a
next
step.
song.
But no, you're still skipping a step because certain tape decks, like Tascam, Denon, and I had one where you could program you could program certain spots, like 3 different points of the tape where you wanted the tape to stop.
Where you want it to stop. And no, but but my point is this, and you're right, but my point is this: what is all of the what is the main thing that all these little nuances we're talking about? Convenience, exactly. And time and convenience. That is what technology lives to solve. It plays to your convenience. That is technology. What is convenient? And as we keep going, we can go up the freaking ladder from CDs to DVDs to Blu-rays to all that. Everything made your life more convenient. That is why technology. So now we have digital. It made your life. I remember I still have a drive full of digital versions of movies, right? I have a whole hard drive full of those that I used to get from, downloading and this, that, and the other. Now that stuff, I might as well erase that drive. I don't need it anymore.
I had the same. I had the same thing. What was it? It was some service like when you bought DVDs. It said, well, if you put in this code in, they would digitally send you a copy and you could file it. And then what happened? Then they went out of business. So like all that stuff is gone. Like, well, damn.
No, wrong. It's not out of business because Movies Anywhere, Voodoo, which Voodoo turned into Walmart. Walmart bought up all of Voodoo. So now when you buy DVDs at Walmart or you stream stuff at Walmart,
you get the Voodoo,
you can get the digital copy.
Yeah.
And you can still stream your digital copy. The other thing too is like even what Wes has. Wes has all those things on the drive. Guess what? If you make a network in your home, you can stream them within your house. The same thing with downloading your.
But what I mean is that all of that takes away from the convenience for me because first of all, I got to go through all that work when I can just go on one of these streaming services I already pay for and watch the movie.
Depending on what kind of device you have, there's certain and these devices have been doing it since 10 years ago because I had one where you can, I forget which device. Oh, it was the Roku. When the first Roku that came out, you could attach your Roku to your network, and it would automatically recognize whatever format of movies you had, and you could play them right through the Roku.
No, I know, and
it wasn't any work.
All I'm saying is the fact of if I have the Back to the Future trilogy, I'm just using that as an example. I have the 3 Back to the Future movies. They're all digital versions of them, whatever, downloads. I mean, regardless of the fact, I can go and watch them, or even if I connect my drive to my network and go through all of that to do that, I could do that. But I don't have to do that because I could just jump on, whatever streaming, Paramount, whatever streaming service that they're on, and just watch them right back.
But here's the thing too. Even if you have the digital copy of it, and you physically bought the movie and you have the digital copy, you could download your digital copy to Movies Anywhere or whichever one you get it from, and what's dope about Movies Anywhere is they link all of your content. So if you got movies that you bought on Amazon, movies you bought at Walmart, movies that you got on any other device, any other kind of service, it links all of those together. So all your digital content is in one place, and you can still stream it from one, from one thing. Because that's what I do. I'm slowly getting my DVD collection digital, and that way I could either do it, stream it that way, or if the lights go out or if the internet goes down, then I can stream it on a closed network at home and have them, digitally at home and stream them on a closed network at home. But it's all it all boils down to the individual and what and what your level of convenience is. For some people,
Well, yeah,
they're like me, like
some people,
some people want to stream, like even with
I mean,
music.
some people want to stream it. Like I said, I look at all of these movies that I had, and I had them a while ago. And yes, I watched them at the time. They're on my drive, and if I don't upload them to a server or do something like that they're just on my hard drive, so I can only watch them on my computer or whatever my hard drive's hooked up to, unless I do other means or whatever. But
no, even with that, like I
said,
but even with that, just a quick note. But even with that, if you got a Roku, it'll automatically recognize it on your network. If it's connected,
no, it won't. It has to be connected to my network. That's what I'm saying. So I have to, if it's just on my hard drive, right now it's not connected to any network. It's just on a hard drive. That's it.
But that's what I'm saying. If your computer, no, what I'm saying is, if your computer is connected to your network and your Roku is connected to your network, your Roku can recognize that drive once it's shared, and the Roku will recognize that drive and pick it because it'll recognize your computer on the network.
Exactly.
That
so
still
everything
sound like a
you're
lot
saying,
of work.
it's still a lot of work.
That still sound like a lot of work.
I don't know. To me, it's not a lot. To me, it's not a lot of work. It's just 1, 2, 3.
But we're going off my top. What my overall point is that so if I took whatever time to do that, a millisecond of that time that it would take me to do that, I could turn on Paramount Plus or whatever streaming service I am already subscribed to and instantly watch the movie that I've been trying to watch off my hard drive. 9 times out of 10, unless it's a movie that's hard to find, Last American Virgin, stuff like that. Those movies that are a little harder to find on digital. But unless it's one of those, if it's your common film, if it's a Rocky film, I got all the Rockies on my hard drive. But I mean, they're all half of the Rockies was on Tubi. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just that it's convenience. That's what technology solves. And that's where, getting back to the overall point of the film thing, are they willing to stand on that hill and possibly die on that hill by saying, we're going to force you to go back to the theaters. We're not going to give you the option anymore. If you want to see this movie in the next 90 days or more, you have to go to the theater to see it. Now you have to decide as an experiment, how much is it going to affect you? As far as because like Kev brought up, Ralph, if let's say Disney tries the experiment and people are like, you know what, I've had, it's been a while and I haven't even been watching Disney Plus because there's been nothing coming on that I want to watch. So why am I paying for it? And then they cut it off, right?
Well,
so
I can sit there.
That's an L.
But I can sit there
and do that.
But I can sit there and say that right this minute. I mean, personally, for me, there are.
Well, I mean, you're saying that right minute because it may be not nothing that you're looking for. But what I'm saying is, if they do that, they got to be willing to take the fact that there will be some cancellations. There will be some people that say, you know what? Yeah. And hey, they may come back when the movie comes back. They might come back. You never know. But you got to take that chance. You're going to take the chance of them leaving your service because nothing has come across in a while that they're willing to watch. And if they do go back to, if they're forced, say they fall in line, they're forced to go back, you're still kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face because they still might end up canceling because it's like
once they watch the movie, it's
right.
It's a wrap.
And
So
the other side to that is that we didn't bring up either is the main reason why that won't ever happen is because now their hand was forced to do this now because of their stockholders, and they made all of these grandiose promises to stockholders, and unfortunately Netflix too, because Netflix throwing out money like it was nothing to
Going out of
project.
style. Yeah.
And then all of these, and then what happened? Now everybody's in the streaming game. See, it was dope when Netflix was the only one, doing the bulk of the streaming. It was dope for Netflix because you could throw all that money around because you were dominating the streaming market. But now you're sharing with dozens of other people, and then you have you got people like me who have subscription services and you look at my Amazon Fire, and it's like, oh, dip. This is like looking at cable. with all the subscription services. But then you got people who got cable, and they got Netflix, and they got Hulu, and they got this, and they've got ESPN, and they got that. They like, well, wait a minute, hold on, I'm paying for too much stuff. You know what? Disney Plus is. I got to put that on the back burner. And then, like I said, then what we didn't talk about was shareholders. They're not going to go backwards because of the shareholders.
Because of this show. And here's another thing. Now, companies, cable companies, streaming, whatever, they're pushing that. I just redid my my streaming package with Xfinity. Xfinity now offers bundles with streaming. You can get, you might pay $80 for 1,000 megabits per second, and that's the one I just re-upped. And they just gave me Paramount Plus. Peacock. They threw in Peacock for 24 months. Peacock
for nothing,
free included for 24 months. I went and canceled my Peacock because the one I'm paying for. What I'm paying for it for? I'm already paying for it now with Xfinity. They have other bundles where you can get. There was one bundle they got where you got like 800 megabits per second plus Peacock plus Apple TV plus something like all of these. But they're bundling them now, and they're catching the streaming.
Yeah, but they're catching you on the back end because what they're hoping is when the 2 years is up, you're gonna forget about it, and they just gonna tack on the regular price.
Do, but that they don't get that from me. They ain't catching me. Yeah, that's why I just re-upped, because I was just coming off a promotion. So I was like, look, I said it's time to re-up my promotion, else I'm going Spectrum, here I come.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I ditched cable, because I got tired of every 2 years I had to go back and hustle up a new deal.
Basically, hustle up a new deal. Threaten to you know what? Who's next? Mel, I can let's put it in your name. We got any kids? Let's put it in their name. We got
oh no, I didn't even get a chance to take it that far, because I'll be like, yo, well, I'm gonna leave. And they would never say, well, where you, the one thing they never said to me, they never said to me, well, where are you gonna go? Because in your area, there's nothing else to go
me
to.
too. That happened to me too. I was just saying Spectrum, here I come, but honestly, in my area, I can get, because I live in an apartment complex, and we are only serviced by Xfinity. So it's really, but the retention department for people. Here's a little tip for you people who are streaming, and you may or may not know. Every one of these places have a retention department.
Yeah,
and if you threaten to leave,
you going right to them.
I can't guarantee you that they'll always do it, but 9 times out of 10 they're going to send you to retention, and they'll probably strike some sort of deal with you to make you
keep you on. Yep,
keep you on
every time.
9 times out of 10, unless they're on. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, unless you're being like a real jerk, and they're like, okay, let them go. But some of these places, when you're in a situation where you only deal with them, they kind of got you by the balls anyway.
Yeah.
But whether they know it or not, they don't take advantage of it. Thank goodness.
Nah, man. Like the area I live in, we have a cable company here called Service Electric, right? Infinity been talking about they're coming up in this area for years. They have never made up, despite me having a Verizon building right across the street from me. They have not done any. They have not done any of the work to bring Infinity up here. Like in New Jersey, you also have Cablevision. Don't have that up here. So we got Service Electric. So it seems from my mom's it's like every month they keep raising the bill for this and the new fee, this. And there's nothing, and I said because there's no competition. There's no
that's exactly what it is.
Except if you want to get the Dish Network, which I wouldn't tell anybody to get the Dish Network because when it storms, you can't do nothing.
I've had too many problems doing that. Going out there, wiping off the dish. If it's snow get on the dish,
you're screwed. Forget. Listen,
you be in the middle of watching the damn Super Bowl and it'll go out. You're like,
and there's nothing you can do to fix it unless you somehow put something over the disc, but that blocks the signal. No, hell, if you have it in the backyard, and I don't know if you know these trees got these things called leaves that come in during the summertime. The leaves are blocking the signal, so you can't. So now you got to cut this big ass hole in between your trees, which now take away all your shade. It's like it's like you're in the, it's like you're in a losing scenario.
You know how people used to get around that, Ralph? A lot of people started going back to the old school, 12-foot wide. 12-foot diameter dishes in the backyard, and
I know somebody.
Those do that, but those are pricey.
Matter of fact, my dad, when he lived in Irvington, his next door neighbor had one of those big ass Millennium Falcon saucer dishes on top of his house. And I went over there one day. He was picking up. He had it on that. He had it on the roof of his house. Right. Went over there one day and we're watching television. And he hit some button and there's a station from Russia showed up. I was like, what is it? He's like, this is Russian TV. Like Russia.
You get you get one of them dishes and it's over. You get to see it. I forgot who was. It's two people that I know that had that. It was somebody out here in Long Beach that had it. I can't remember who, but we went to their house and they were just flipping through channels and we was like, whoa. And we saw cartoons from Japan, all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell?
All of that.
Like,
I've seen people who had it. I've never had one.
The
I had
clearest
a
picture
friend
ever.
or two that had them. And you're like, wow, that's crazy. It picks up a lot of stuff. But yeah, man, it's real crazy, bro. It's real interesting how the movie situation is going to happen. So I'm going to let me see here. Give me 1 second. Move on to this topic here. So I said at the top of the show, and I already put the disclaimer out, Kev. I said at the top of the show that we will be talking some what would be considered controversial topics, racial topics and things of that nature because of the viral post of a video which involved one Judy Garland and of her basically performing in a movie, performing in a show in blackface, right? So with that being said, this post, just to give quick context to it, this post came across a timeline of mine on social media, and I made a comment on it. So the post basically said in a nutshell, because I was going to put it up there, but I'm not going to put the post up there because I don't need to give this idiot any shine. But anyway, the person who, and I'm just going to paraphrase, they basically said, well, some people don't know, before Judy Garland got the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, these are the words that the guy used. He said she had to do certain things, such as this movie where she appeared in blackface, which goes to tell you that, people sometimes when you're trying to get where you want to go in life, You may have to do things that might be offensive to certain people, and it might, whatever. So that was kind of like basically what the post said. And to me,
and note to the audience, that's called crackers crackering. Continue.
yeah, right, exactly. So my only response to that post was and I quote, white people defending this is ... well, expected, end quote. That was my only comment. Right? Not too bad. I didn't say anything racist. I didn't say anything. Boy, oh boy, did that trigger a lot of people.
That
and
started the crackers the crackering.
Since then, let me tell you something. I must have gotten about 500 to 800 responses on that comment. People talk, and not all just talking to me. Some of them responded to me, and then other people responded to the person that responded to me, and then the other person responded to the person that responded to the person that responded to me, and then it just kept going on and on. And they get into fights, and next thing you know, we're talking about slavery. We're talking about black people doing crime and killing each other. We're talking about all stuff that has nothing to do with the post or with my comment, for that matter. Now, I'll give you a little more context, and I'm not going to play the sound from it, because I'm just going to play a little bit of the video so you can see what it looks like. This is Judy Garland right here, and she's out there. She's
full on Sambo. Jesus Christ.
This is obviously like a minstrel show within this movie that she's in. Supposedly the character dressed up, whatever. I forgot what the premise of it was.
And everything. Jesus
everything.
Christ.
Oh, everything, bro. It's very offensive, obviously. Well, at least according to this guy too, quote unquote, certain people, certain groups of people.
I mean, look at her head. She even got the Negro head movements. Boy, she needs an Oscar just for doing that.
Look at the white guy. Look at the white guy. He's like, ha, ha, ha. They're like clapping. Oh, isn't this great? So,
well, she's an ugly little black girl. Glad she white.
That's the funny thing. I'm glad you mentioned that, Kev, because as you know, that's why they always portrayed all of them like that, making people, believe, white people who don't know any better, who watch this sort of nonsense, believe that this is what all black people look like. Because obviously back then, this was in the 30s, so black people weren't even on TV. They weren't on TV. They weren't on screens. They weren't in movies. So white people would imitate them.
No, that's a correction. They weren't on TV and they weren't on screens, but only in the roles of servants,
maids,
and slaves,
cotton pickers.
And slaves, right? So, So anyhow, this is Judy Garland.
Damn, boy, she's getting it in the eyes, everything. Boy, Oscar for Judy Garland.
So that is Judy Garland. That was Judy Garland in the movie, whatever that movie was called. This was shot before The Wizard of Oz. And allegedly, I'm always going to say allegedly because we're not sure how it all played out, but allegedly, this film, or what some people are saying, which I believe are just making excuses, but we'll see. I'm going to say it anyway, and you be the judge. Some people are saying that allegedly this film was something that was put on the table for her to do, and she, quote unquote, had to do it to get the role of Dorothy to eventually get the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Not sure what the connection is. Why, if doing
probably
that,
under contract. Probably under contract.
Right. It could have been.
Yeah, I remember because what you said.
Now we do know. Yeah, I said it offline before. Once again, back in those days, for people who do not know, actors were signed to studios. They signed contracts with specific studios, and they were pretty much exclusive to that studio. So if they wanted to work, they had to sign a contract with a specific studio. It was kind of like a record deal in a way, like where, you know, when you could sign a record deal, you could only make records for that record company, right? You got signed to a studio for whatever that's the only way you can get multiple picture deals, because you worked for a specific studio. So and that's how it was back then for many years to come. Now, just to add a little more context to it, the reason why I even brought this to the table, because I thought it was fascinating how so many people responded to my comment with pointing out what is, if you do any research, even if you don't know about Judy Garland, doing the research, it has been documented that allegedly Judy Garland was very much one of those child stars that was used and abused by Hollywood, right? Not only was she used and abused by Hollywood, she was used and abused allegedly by her own family, her own parents, that would you know, there's some people that said she was drugged and you know, forced to do things from her own parents, her own mother, and actually as a result of it got her addicted to pills in her career. One of the reasons why her career failed as an adult, and one of the reasons why she died at the age of 47, the tender age of 47. You know, that's not an old age. So there's a lot of context behind it, right? But my thing was this, what I thought was fascinating, how many people attacked me, so to speak, because of my comment of saying white people defending this is expected. I got a plethora of threats, insults, and people thinking that they're enlightening me, like I don't know this business that I'm in, thinking that they're enlightening me by saying, you know, she was used and abused by her parents and by the, you know, and by the system of Hollywood, and she was forced to do a lot of stuff, and you know, it's not right for you to condemn her, which I never condemned her, by the way, but it's not right for you to condemn her for this, that, and the other. I mean, I got called everything from the N-word 100 times to people trolling my account, you know, trolling my I mean, it got crazy. It even got personal. People were literally taking their time to go to my account, look at my pictures, and try to say, oh yeah, and insult my pictures, my family, my children, like all types of stuff. It just got crazy, right? Meanwhile, I'm just looking at all of it, chuckling to myself, because I don't let social media get the best of me, because these are all what I like to call, I mean, my brother always say, oh, they're a bunch of keyboard killers and mouse pad mobsters. All right, so you know, broadband bloods. You know, everybody's tough behind a keyboard, right? So that doesn't bother me, you know. But it does bother some people, and even some of my friends that saw it, that were on that. I saw some of my friends coming to defend me. You know, oh no, you should have. I'm like, don't engage, don't engage, because these people, all they want to do is troll you. So it went from me saying this is expected, so people saying, oh, she was abused. Okay, allegedly, and that ticked people off too. That triggered people. They would say to me, type a whole long book to me, talk about how much Judy Garland was abused as a child, which I already knew. And my only answer was one word: allegedly. And then people would just lose their minds and start calling me the N-word and everything. My whole point of bringing this to the table was because let's put all that stuff in the context. I'm going to say that it's 90% chance, if not higher, that is true. She was used and abused by Hollywood. She got addicted. We definitely know that she got addicted to pills. That was well documented, and drugs, alcohol as well. It has been documented that her parents did something to her, whether it was forcing her to take pills or whatever the case may be. There's different stories, and I did a deep dive on Judy Garland's life and her career. So, yeah, let's give them that benefit of the doubt. The question is, okay, does that excuse her? Does she get a pass for doing the blackface? Right? Obviously, she did it as a child. She was 15 years old when it happened, 16, right before the same time she did The Wizard of Oz, which also was a nightmare for her, by the way. In all fairness to her, they talked about, I mean, literally, and it's messed up, but I laugh because I'm not laughing at the act. It's just very hard to say she was getting molested by the Munchkins on set. I mean, that's hard to say with a straight face, but that's just real messed up because the men that played the Munchkins on the set were grown men. They were just little people. And literally there's lots of documentation or things that were documented for people's accounts of them saying they remember, like one of her assistants, one of the PAs that worked on the film, who's very older now, said that, you know, they witnessed the abuse that this young lady unfortunately had to go through. Now, once again, my problem was the post itself. If she did the blackface, which we know she did, let's say she was forced to do it. Let's give them that benefit of the doubt and say she was forced to do it, because we all know that you did not have control of your career back then. You did have to do pretty much what they said, not more so say force, but it's pretty much do what you are asked to do if you want to work again, pretty much, with that studio that you are signed to. So with all that being said, I said, what does that have to do with the fact that she did it as a child, but she grew up to be an adult? She never addressed it. She never apologized for it. And she never brought it up again. She probably hoped it would never come up again. Obviously, we didn't have the technology we have now, so none of that stuff was brought up in the past. And I'll say one more thing before I get your thoughts. I'll say one more thing. To be fair, it has also been documented, allegedly. I say allegedly because this is all accounts of people, different accounts of different people throughout history, that she was a quote unquote ally of the civil rights movement, supposedly. With certain other performers other actors and performers, black and white and in between, such as Dorothy Dandridge and people like that, that showed their support to civil rights, certain civil rights leaders in the civil rights movement, right? Just throwing that nugget out there too. But once again, my problem is not per se the fact that she may have well been given an ultimatum or forced, whatever you want to say, to do it, but more so the post itself. What does that give you the opportunity? So does that give us the right, or anybody the right, to defend it, is the question. Now, your thoughts.
Yes.
Does she get a pass?
Yes.
No.
Okay. We'll start with Ralph. So she gets a pass.
I'm going to say she gets a pass for a couple of reasons. Number one, the time period that it was in, and not the fact of pre-civil rights, but the time period. Yeah. I mean, that happened with a lot of actors. Al Jolson. Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, she also gets a pass because when this is happening, she is a child, and she was probably on the studio contract where this was basically, they probably let her, if you don't do this, you can't do this. Right now, if you're going to sit there and say, well, she should have known better, she was a child, she wouldn't have known better. And once again, that was the Hollywood system in the 20s and 30s. It is not what it is today. This is not Ted Danson that we're talking about here. We're talking about this young girl
who chose to do blackface.
Right, he chose to do it. Right, but so for those reasons, I would sit there and say she does get a pass. Now, she did this thing. Now, if it was proven that after she became an adult, she did it again, knowing how she felt about the first time, then no, she doesn't get a pass. But my point also is this: is if you're going to sit there and you're going to chastise this young woman who was a child, which it is, then you had. I'm looking at the camera. You had damn sure better go out there and chastise John Wayne for playing American Indian, and you damn sure better go out there and chastise Jerry Lewis for playing Asian. Right. So don't hand me this with Judy Garland. You better
look at they all get the smoke.
No, those two get the smoke more because they are adults.
They were adults.
Yeah. Judy Garland was a child. I'm willing to give her the pass on that based on that she was a kid. And that which with Judy Garland happened back in the 20s, 30s. When I'm talking about John Wayne and Jerry Lewis, that's in the 60s and 70s. That's a whole nother story.
Danson was in the 80s.
Danson was in the 80s. While dating Whoopi Goldberg. That's even worse.
While dating. Yeah.
Wow, they won't go. That was even worse. Right. So those. But what I'm saying, if you're going to chastise Judy Garland, who was a kid, you damn sure better chastise those three now that were adults in the modern era. Back then, black and white films, Judy Garland, and I know Al Jolson, and God knows who else. That we just don't know about because we may not.
Well, Al Jolson was an adult, so he don't get no pass. He was an adult.
But what I'm saying is the idea of blackface. But and for a small degree, you have to give Al Jolson a pass too because that was the time period back there. That's what they did. They didn't have a choice, right?
No, they have a choice. You have a choice. If you're an adult, you
always have a choice.
No.
You always have a choice.
What I'm saying by choice.
I have to agree with you. I agree with you with the child may not have much of a choice because they are, especially if their parents are kind of pushing them to do it, whatever, if that's the case, right? But if you're an adult, you always have a choice.
No, this is why I say why he didn't have a this is what I'm saying about not having a choice with it. If that was the way of them making movies back in the day, right, then you didn't have a choice because that's the way movies were made. Well, maybe you did not because remember at that particular point in time, that was the dawn of cinema, right? That's why so many of those old movies are either in black and white, no sound, and no color. That was the dawn. So, and they were all
no, Ralph. But here's the thing: getting past that, and going forward to the point when sound was connected to film and synced with film and videos were still film was still in black and white, but at that point in time when sound was available and linked to film, you at that point you knew what you were doing. As a matter of fact, at that point was when Jim Crow laws started coming into effect, so you knew. And Jewish Hollywood made the decision to be like, and remember, I'm going to point that out because ain't nobody going to talk about that part. Is the fact that a lot of these Hollywood executives were Jewish that were allowing this, and producers and directors that were doing this were Jewish people, and they were allowing this to happen.
Okay, that's fine. I'll go with that. But here's to my point. Why am I even want to say more? Why you should give a pass? Because if you're going to critique Judy Garland for what was going on in 1920 something, sorry people, you damn sure better say something about Robert Downey Jr. in 2000 and 2008.
No, that's no.
It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Let me take that one. The reason why it's not the same thing, and people bring this up all the time, it's not the same thing. We all know that blackface, the art of blackface was done for a specific reason. Okay. It was depicting what white people wanted to show other white America what
exactly.
other white America what they thought black people look like. Okay, now that's what blackface was all about. Okay, it was not art, it was not anything but making fun of black people. That's all it was. It had nothing to do with art, because if you wanted black people in the film, you should just cast black people. But it wasn't that.
Are you saying that Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal, which I liked the portrayal, don't get me wrong, I liked it, but are you saying that he was not in some way making fun of black people with the way he was talking?
He wasn't.
Listen. No, what I'm saying is that particular role was written, obviously, as a comedy. It was written as a specific character who was an actor, who was overly methodical method actor, who basically went, like I said, went overboard to cast in a role, and he went overboard to do this role, right? It's not, in my opinion, that is not blackface, because of the fact that a lot of people call it that, but I don't call it that, because of the whole thing behind it.
It really,
Tropic Thunder was not made to make fun of black people.
Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr. was an actor. He was a method actor playing the role of an actor. He was an actor playing the role of an actor. Basically, it wasn't even like he was. It wasn't like he was like the character was blackface. It was an actor playing an actor.
He was playing a black person, right? So yes, his skin was darker or whatever, but he didn't have the big white lips painted on. He wasn't, the big, he didn't do that. That is that is what blackface is all about. That is a depiction of what and it really wasn't what they thought black people looked like. It's what they wanted America to think what black people look like. That is blackface. If you're a person who is a white person that gets started, like, for instance, people were calling Angelina Jolie thing. They were calling that blackface. That wasn't blackface. She was portraying a real person that was actually, I believe that person is half white, half black, but she had a little darker skin than Angelina Jolie, and she was cast as that person. She was playing that person, and that's who she was. She was playing a half black, half white person, right? That is not blackface. That is a role that she was cast, that she's playing. It ain't no
I can't agree with that. I can agree with the one Angelina Jolie.
But also the reason why she was mainly cast for that. But the main reason why, but hold on, the main reason why she was cast for that though is because, one, Hollywood was too lazy to find a black person to play the role, and two, because Angelina Jolie, in certain instances, especially when she has a tan, she could pass for being black. Let's just keep it a buck.
She actually looked. She was actually a very good looking black woman.
Yeah,
she had contacts in, so she didn't have light eyes. She had brown eyes. She had darker hair. She had on like a wig that had her hair a little curlier, something like that. And she really did look like a black woman. Like, to me, I'm like, that is not blackface. I don't care what anyone says. That's not blackface. Now,
I can agree with that with Angelina Jolie. That is not blackface. But what I'm saying, but what I'm and then what I'm saying about the thing with Robert Downey Jr. is because that's just, if we could sit there and say that could possibly be, someone could say that's the evolution of blackface, where as you had that from the 20s, now you got this version. Like I said, if you heard it, like I said, when C. Thomas Howell did Soul Man. The same thing. It was supposed to be comedy, but it was a comedy depicting black people in a certain kind of way, because he was trying to buck the system to get into the school. I can sit there and say that
Soul Man went a little bit. I think Soul Man went a little bit far because of the storyline. If it would have stuck strictly to the storyline, you could say that it was whatever, art, whatever you want to call it, right? But then there were certain parts in the film where it was just like, okay, you know, he had to start jiving and shucking.
Like when he's trying to play basketball,
right?
Trying to play basketball, you know.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Right. There was parts in it. So, but once again, I'm just saying, I don't compare certain. It doesn't mean that it's not offensive, and it doesn't mean whatever. I'm just saying that I do not compare that to Blackface because, and people saying it might be an evolution of it. If you want to say that, okay, fine. I'm not going to argue with people that have that opinion. Like, I'm not even going to argue if you felt that way, Ralph. I'm not going to argue with you that because you have, you know, everyone has a right to feel a certain way about things. But what I'm saying is, especially with the Robert Downey Jr. thing, that character written the way it was more of a tongue-in-cheek thing, period. A silly tongue-in-cheek thing about a person, character, an actor who's just over the top with it, going out of his, you know, going overboard to supposedly become a role, right? He was preparing for a role, and they pointed it out throughout the movie how ridiculous he was doing it, how ridiculous he looked, how ridiculous he sounded, how ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? Like all that, and it was being pointed out by a black actor, a black person, a black character that kept
He's like, you're not black.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of felt that while it was definitely risky to do it, that you know, I still don't consider it blackface. I really don't.
And I'm going.
No, wait a minute, Kev, before you say that. Wait a minute, Kev, before you say that. But this is what this was talking about. Like she made that choice. What if the studio said, "Well, listen, bro, if you want to play Iron Man, you need to," because both of those movies were done by Paramount. They both came out the exact same year. What they did, because say, "Well, listen, we want you to play this role too," which you may think is kind of, but if you play this role, we'll let you do Iron Man.
Okay. Well, I mean,
you know
once again,
no,
he has a choice.
no. I'm gonna tell you now. That wouldn't have been the case for Robert Downey Jr. One, he wouldn't have did it. He would have told him to kiss his ass.
No,
because
no. Not at that point in time. He would not. Because nobody was hiring him.
Well, Ralph,
Nobody was hiring.
Ralph, let me tell you something. Here's the thing about Robert Downey Jr. The one thing about Robert Downey Jr. is Robert Downey Jr. has a lot of respect for the black community, and he's not that he's not that white boy. He's that white boy that grew up in the projects. He's that type of white boy that he understands the nuances of the of the cultures. So the one thing, even when he did the role that he did in Tropic Thunder, he asked Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx said, "What?" He said, "Man, you bodied that." He's like, "Look, if anybody got a problem with it, tell them come see me." Because he basically gave him the pass, like, "Yo, that was not racist. It wasn't. We understood what it was clearly understood what that character was doing." And again, even if we're going to take the premise of what you're saying, okay, if you do Tropic Thunder, then we're going to give you what's we call it. Tom Cruise would have been, or somebody else would have been our Iron Man, because Robert Downey Jr. wouldn't have did it. Because he's like, now, okay.
Not under those circumstances.
He would have been like, now I see.
We know all up into that. Go ahead, Kev. I don't mean to cut your thoughts.
No. It's okay. It's okay. Because
we all know that up until this point and up until that point, Robert Downey Jr. has exactly 0 Fs to give. He always had 0 Fs to give.
That's true.
Yeah,
so
true.
Let's keep it a buck here. So and by the way, speaking of Robert Downey Jr., Variety, like we said before, they do these great things. The actors on actors interviews. He just did another one. He did one with Mark Ruffalo last year or a few months ago, but he did another one with Jodie Foster. Excellent. I recommend everyone go watch it. Jodie Foster, they were talking about her role in True Detective, and they were talking about Robert Downey's role in the Sympathizer. The show The Sympathizer, where he played multiple characters. Once again, he played different types of characters in that film. But Now, what I'm going to
And
say,
and on that point of what Wes just said, that's the reason why they picked him for this role, is because Robert Downey Jr., I mean, look at every role that he's ever played. He knows how to encapsulate what the character is supposed to be. And he understood, okay, I'm a white guy playing a black guy. I'm a white guy playing a white guy that wants to play a black guy. So it's an actor playing an actor playing an actor. It's crazy, and only he had the foresight and the aptitude to be able. That's the better word to use. He had the aptitude,
right?
To
you gotta remember
do
think
that
about
and to
the
pull it off.
character, right? Think about the character. The character was obviously he was an actor, but he was obviously more because he also was in there as a soldier, right, or whatever they was doing, and but so he was an actor preparing for a role, trying to be, trying to be a method actor. I mean, it was almost more like a tongue-in-cheek, almost making fun of method actors.
That's exactly what it was doing.
Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I thought
you got method actors that want to go try. They want to try heroin because they're about to play a heroin addict.
Exactly.
And like I said, don't get it wrong. I love him playing that role, but now that this thing with Garland, I'm sitting there saying, feels like someone could say that well.
No, I'm sure
you're not going after Robert Downey Jr.
And I've had on the reverse side, I've had white people that responded to me saying, well, what about white chicks? Isn't that considered whiteface? You know what I mean? I had it all the time, right? So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I said, now personally, I didn't really like white chicks. I didn't really like the movie, to be honest with you. I didn't really think
some parts were funny. Some parts.
I love the Wayans brothers, but that's not one of my favorite movies from the Wayans brothers. I thought it was kind of corny to me. That was just my opinion. A lot of people love it. I thought it was corny. If you want to say that is it whiteface, I mean, I don't know what's whiteface. Once again, I don't think it's whiteface because it's not made for the sake. Remember, blackface was made for the sake of
making black people look fucking stupid.
Right. Making black people look bad.
I'm going to say this.
Making them look ugly.
I'm going to say this part, and then I'll come my level. I think the whiteface is when you make white people look like you expose their privilege, like Eddie Murphy did in that Saturday Night Live bit.
Yes,
but I think that's what whiteface. But white,
that's more white. That could be considered whiteface, but not him playing the old Jewish guy in Coming to America. That's a role. That's a role. That's not.
What he did on Saturday Night Live, that's not even considered quote unquote whiteface in terms of it being racism, because you're depicting exactly what a person is. Whereas blackface was specifically made to create a stereotype.
Well,
a stereotype
to be fair, that bit was also based on stereotypes, because it's not a guarantee that white people, of course they went over the top. It's not a guarantee that white people are going to always give white people other stuff just because they're white. That's not guaranteed. That is a stereotype. The fact that he was exploring that white people it was a funny bit.
No, but it's not. But actually, it's not, because if you go back to what I always say about what America was, there was a point in time where America was that innocent, and that's what they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that's what he's basing
what
that off of.
To his degree of it,
but that's what he was basing it off of.
A little bit of stereotypical stuff, and you can even say that White Chicks was based on stereotypical stuff too, because of
but where's that stereotypical? Okay, right? Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Where does that stereotypical stuff come from? It came from the images that was given to us by Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
So
the stereotypes. I'm not saying that. See, what I'm saying is one reason why it's a stereotype that was made up, that wasn't made up by per se black people. That's what I mean by. That's why I don't consider it. I don't compare it to blackface or the opposite of blackface, because the dumb blonde stereotype was made up by, you could fairly say that that's made up by white people, because it was.
It ain't fairly. That's accurate.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Snow, that's accurate. That ain't made up. That's
Yeah.
accurate.
So yeah, it's true. That was depicted to us from white people, right? So
and y'all still do it, and y'all still
Yeah.
doing it. You're still
Yeah.
coming up with the
They still
blonde
do
hair
it.
and that
The dumb blonde.
oh,
Yeah,
like
Chrissy Snow,
Kelly
Married with
Bundy.
Children, Kelly Bundy. So they go with that. But what I'm saying is now the question is, okay, that's white people making fun of white people. Now, when black people do it, is it a reverse way of, this is what people say. Is it a reverse way of black people
No,
making fun
but
of white people
it's not, because you're only doing
maliciously?
no. But what you're doing the same thing white people are doing. But now it's like, oh, wait a minute. It's like you said. It's opening up the door of, wait a minute, hold up. What do you mean? That's what we're like.
Well, I would,
We're not. Then all of a sudden it's a
yeah.
problem. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
When white people
that's the
do it,
thing.
it's nothing to be said. It gets glossed over. But as soon as black people, it's just like when you bring up. It's just like when you bring up. You bring up anything that has to do with racism. All of a sudden, white people get in their feelings, and you saw it on your post. You said what you said, and now it goes all the way back to slavery. What does slavery got to do with the fact that this chick was wearing blackface? It wasn't like she was wearing blackface and cracking a whip. She was just wearing. So how did you go from there? Again, it's white people in their feelings. Crackers crackering, and that's
This
all
is
it is.
what happens. Now, my final thought on this, honestly, was this. Like I said before, I will even go with the whole part about, we know what the circumstances, and I agree with Ralph to the point of things were obviously different back then. We know that people were signing the contracts. She was a child. She had no control over her career. That is true. My post really wasn't even about Judy Garland. My comment was about the post in the first place. You're posting this instead of just saying, here's Judy Garland in blackface, for whatever reason you're going to put it up there. The post was the person right out the gate creating a narrative defending this whole thing with their posts, trying to basically, in a way, gaslight you, saying, and sometimes you have to do things that might be in life. You got to do things that might be offensive to other groups of a certain group of people.
And
but these are things that that's the problem I had.
That bullshit.
That's why
right
my
there.
comment was white people defending this is, well, it's expected.
And
That's
you know
all
what?
I said.
And the perfect example of, if you want to see the perfect example of what Wes is talking about, and when I say crackers crackering, watch the TV show Under the Bridge. Go on, if you got Amazon, Hulu, whatever the case may be, go on and look at the movie Under the Bridge. It's on Hulu. It's a series on Hulu. It's a true life story that happened in Canada about Vamik Ratter, I think her name was. She was a Indian girl, a young Indian Jehovah's Witness girl that got murdered by white teens. And if you want to see exactly what Wes is talking about, you'll see it in this movie, because you'll see them defend these white kids murdered this brown girl, all because she was brown, and because they didn't like her, and they didn't want her to be a part of this quote on clique. They call anyway. That's a whole nother thing in itself.
Right,
Again,
right.
crackers crackering. But and trying to appropriate culture and don't even understand it, because even the girls, two of the girls called themselves that they wanted to go to New York City to meet John Gotti. Like it's and all of it is based off a true story of what happened. And basically what I'm saying is they murdered this brown girl, and then you see how the effects of how grown white people look at this murderous. These kids murdered this girl, and they're looking at one of the boys. The boy kicked the girl in the face while other girls was beating her up, because he was mad that he got evicted from his house. So he was dealing with some anger issues, and he was drunk. So he decided to let his anger out on this poor girl and kick her in the face. Now they left the girl there under the bridge to die. I'm sorry, I'm telling the story, but I got to tell it so the point can be seen. And then two of them, him and another girl, go back. The girl went back to take the girl's boots and to take her in the water, hold her down, and drown her. And the boy helped drag her body in the water. The white lady that wrote a book about it, where this is mostly based off of, she turns around and says, "Hey, you can't lock him up. He was drunk. He didn't know what he was doing. He's not a bad kid. Yeah, he's not a bad kid. Yeah, he was remorseful for what he did, and he knew what he did was wrong. But after the fact, when he sobered up, was like, oh damn, I did that. So now but his humanity kicked in. But regardless of how much his humanity kicked in, you killed somebody, and these people, these other humans, because I'm gonna stop saying what I was saying before. These other Caucasian humans was trying to make him look like I'm going to tell your story. I'm going to let people see that you're not the monster that they make you out to be. But at the time, he was.
Right. I mean, exactly. At that moment, he was. So my thing is this. Once again, my comment was pretty much to the post of, you could put the context to the fact of what people allegedly thought or happened, what allegedly happened to Judy Garland. All of that stuff you could put as that. And just like what Ralph says, yeah, I give Judy Garland a pass because of XYZ. No problem with your opinion on that. My only response to the post was, yeah, well, white people defending this is expected. And what happened was, when I said that, all of the true colors came out after that. Now all of a sudden, I'm the N-word, I'm this, I'm that. Everybody just decided to just go in saying black people always want to play victim. Black people always cry about you're crying about something that happened so long ago that it doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you personally. Yeah, I triggered everybody. Doesn't affect you personally. Why do you care? Blah, blah, blah. When I actually said nothing about Judy Garland herself, I just made a comment on that post, because that post was defending blackface by saying it's okay because that's what it was back then. But I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it, because because black people were depicted as that strictly in that way.
And
I'm not even going to talk about the ones that were on
people
screen.
Literally thought that that's who we were. Some dark skinned, ugly.
Thought that's what black people look like, right? I'm not even going to say the black people that are put on screen as servants and stuff like that, because at least they were on screen, they were working, right? Because even old girl won an Oscar, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to say that. I'm talking about blackface, right? Anybody, and this is the end of the topic. We'll move on to the next topic, for the sake of time. But anyone who's really not 100% sure what blackface really is, I'm gonna give y'all a little nugget here. Go watch the film Bamboozled by Spike Lee, and that will really, really put in perspective, right, all of this stuff. Great film. Obviously overlooked.
Deep film.
Yeah,
overlooked.
Deep film. Overlooked. Of course it would be, but it was overlooked. But go check out the film Bamboozled by Spike Lee. When did he do that? Like 2001, something like that. 2000.
Yeah,
it was like early 2000s, I think.
Well, that
Damon Wayans was in it.
Or if you want to reach back in even further, go back and look at the original movie Birth of a Nation.
Well, I mean, that is definitely, but that's gonna really make you mad if you're gonna watch that. But I mean, Spike Lee breaks it down. Birth of a Nation is blackface from a white person's perspective. Bamboozled is a blackface from a black person's perspective, right? and really breaks down the psychology behind it, whereas Birth of a
No,
Nation just really depicts it. You know what I'm saying?
that's my whole point. Because watching Birth of a Nation, you'll understand why blackface was done the way it was done, and why
Well,
white
yeah,
people were doing it, and
I
why
would recommend
racists.
I would recommend watching Bamboozled first, and then go back and watch Birth of a Nation, because once again, it's going, watching because of Birth of a Nation and how it was done and who it was done by. You're really just gonna watch it and get pissed off and not have as much context, because you're gonna be too busy being mad. Whereas you could kind of like, and all of them are great education for you to whatever if you're watching it for that reason.
I'm sorry. Let me
Yeah.
be clear. I was talking about our faithful, humanity-loving Caucasians. I wasn't directing that for black people to watch. No, don't. If you're
Well, yeah.
black, do not go back and watch Birth of a Nation. Please,
No,
at any
please
juncture in your
don't do
life,
that.
do not do that.
Do
Don't do
not
that.
do that.
Do not do that.
So,
Yeah. That's
so
something I don't
but,
recommend you do, because
uh,
that will
me neither.
if it doesn't send you down the path of a righteous Black Panther, it will send you down the path of
Serial
you will
killer.
definitely, you will look at white people differently after that, and it'll take you some time to readjust, to let your humanity kick back in. That wasn't directed at them. It was directed specifically at our white audience, for you to go back and so you can have a full understanding. And all jokes aside, I'm really asking you to look at that for an educational purpose. So now it's going to do one or two things. It's either going to spark your humanity and be like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand what the problem is. Or you're going to dig deeper into your crackerism, and you're going to be you, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's right. They got it right. They got it
Right.
right.
Well, I mean, most people of today, like I said, unless you're just
A racist,
being
let's call it what it is.
interested with people, and there was people that were just being trolls as well, that was like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't have no problem with it, we need more of this.
Internet.
They were just trying to, what it was people were trying to get
A rise
responses
out of
from me,
you.
but I wasn't engaging. I was just letting people, I'm like,
Oh,
thanks
wait,
for the
wait.
engagement.
You can't let this all slide without saying your other comment that you made.
What, allegedly? Or
Yeah, that one.
yeah, that's the one that really triggered them, when they was like, she was battered, she was bruised, she was raped, she was this, she was that. And I was like, allegedly. And that just triggered them even more. What do you mean allegedly? I'm like, allegedly, because none of us was there.
No, it was
And
there.
It was allegedly. We don't know
And
for
she
sure.
and not for nothing. She is not here
She never
today.
talked about it. She's not here today to talk about it, and she never talked about it. This is all stuff from accounts from other people, ex-husbands, ex-co-workers, ex-people like that. This is not from her. She never talked about it in public. So, allegedly.
Well,
Sorry.
wait. But with that one, I would take this. With Judy, if that's what happened to her, I would take it if it came from her ex-husband, or it came
One
from
of them.
Liza.
It
If it came from
her.
Liza.
It came from her third ex-husband, because she was married 5
Not
times.
him. No, not him. No. The first one. If it would have came from the first one.
No, it came from the third ex-husband.
No. I got what you said. I said, but if that would have came from the first husband, because that would have been the one you really told all your secrets to, the first man that you figured you probably wasn't looking to divorce. If it would have came out of his mouth, and I take it coming out of Liza Minnelli's mouth, and she said that her mom told her this, those two people I would give credit. Second and third husband, second and third cousin down the line, my neighbor down the street that I used to get lemonade from. I don't want to hear from you guys. Y'all need to shut up.
I used to get lemonade from. Yeah, nah.
Y'all need to shut up.
Anyhow, I just wanted to bring that. Let's move on to our next, because we got a couple more topics to cover. So there's been another viral post that I kind of picked up on. It was casting the character of Storm, right? The next Storm for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, there was this one thing going around that I had picked up that had 10 actresses that a lot of people favored for the character, right? So some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know. Some of them I agree with, and like I said, some of them I didn't know. So what I decided to do for you people here today, I did a little deep dive, and I'm going to kind of run down based on these particular women, who I think, I'm just giving my order, should, could be, or what have. I'm going to give you the ins and outs. So number one, for us to do this, we have to do one. First thing we have to do is this: we have to let people know who may not know. You need to know about Storm, right? Obviously, things that are important when casting a character: her height, her, what is her nationality or citizenship, right? Because a lot of people, there's a big misconception that Storm was born on the continent of Africa. She was not. According to her bio, her character bio, Storm was born in America.
Yep.
She was born in Manhattan. Yeah. So she was raised on the continent of Africa, because her parents moved back to Africa. She was born to a mother. I think her mother was African and her father was like a soldier or something. So he was American. They came to America. She was born in America, but they moved back to Africa when she was a baby. So she was raised in Africa, and then an incident happened where her parents were killed. There was a crash. I think a plane crashed into their house or something like that. And whatever this thing that happened is what pretty much caused Storm's claustrophobia that she has. As everyone who's a fan of the character of the comics and the cartoon, you know that Storm has terrible, terrible, terrible claustrophobia, right? That was given as she was a child. So anyway, I took the liberty of doing that. So those type of things are important when it comes to casting, because some people were saying that you have to cast a person of, well, they're all of African descent, but people, oh, she should have an African. She wasn't born in Africa. She's technically American. That's where she was born, but she was raised on the continent. So anyhow, let me share my screen, because I did a few things here. Where are you? Okay, so these were the original. These were the original people casting the next Storm. These were the original. I mean, these are people that was put there. You got all of the. So what I did was, I have Storm's some of her statistics here as far as her name, height. She's 5'11". Okay, that's important to know when casting this character, in my opinion. You need, in my opinion, that if I was casting the character right away, doesn't mean that I have to cast a woman that's 5'11", but I'm not casting a woman that's 5'3" either. All right. So I think that's important to the casting. And here's her citizenship: Egyptian, Kenyan, American, right? All of these things that Wakandan, because she did, she was a citizen of Wakanda at one point. So all of that stuff is in there. So so with that being said, here is from 10 to 1. These are the ones that I picked out of these women here, right? They're all listed here. I'll go down real quick about the one. So number 10 out of this, and these are all of this list. Some people can have their own people on the list. I decided to take the people off this list and put them in order of who I think should play is the best to play Storm. So Deborah Irunde, she's, I made her number 10 right out the gate because she's 5'3". To me, that already puts her out of, if this was the pool of people I had to choose from and I'm the casting director, she's automatically number 10. She's 5'3". In my opinion, she's too short. But she's a British Nigerian actress. That helps her out. Nigerian actress. But she was raised in the United States. kind of reverse of Storm. And she's known for her role in Amazon Prime horror series Them, right? Okay, so she's number 10. Number 9 is this young lady here, Jade Ashati, is American television and film actress. She starred in the BBC American series Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Right? She's so that's a mouthful. She is Guyanese and Egyptian. Right? She's 39 years old. I didn't put Storm's age because Storm's age varies, right? Because if she, you take her when she was younger or she was older, but Storm, that's fine. Her age is 39. She was Brooklyn, New York. She is 5'5". Another reason why I kind of put her at number 9. Also, I'm not too familiar with her work. Number 8, we have Sky P. Marshall, Chicago. She's from Chicago, veteran of the United States Air Force. After her enlistment was fulfilled, Marshall graduated from the Illinois University with honors, earning bachelor's degree. Okay, so she's 5'5" as well. Not I forgot what I had a thing in here where some of the things that she was in, but she's on this list. That's why I'm putting it there. So she's what is she, number 8? I have her at. Yeah. So now the next one is number 7, I believe. Let's go. Let me see. I'm having my pinwheel in here for some reason. That's but yeah, with this chick here, man, she is 5'5". Once again, that's why she's kind of lower down on my list. I don't know why my thing is getting caught up there. I might have to restart it. It's not responding. Let's restart that there. But so these are the people, like I said before, are right there on this. Let me restart the program because I don't know why it was doing that. Okay. All right. Let me reshare. This is number 10, 9, 8. Okay, number 7 right here off this list of actresses. Kiki Lane, American actress, best known for her starring roles in such films as the romantic drama If Beale Street Could Talk, the drama Native Son, and the action superhero film The Old Guard. So she, and also in the romantic comedy Coming to America, which is part 2 to Coming to America, right? Okay, so she's listed here at number 7 for me. Out of this list of people, she's 5'9", not bad. As you can see the picture of her there, she's got nice bone structure, which I kind of think goes well with Storm. She's a nice, kind of like the right complexion if you look at it. Right there, and I say I do yes people, I did say complexion, not being not being what's it called, colorism or anything, because I'm light skinned, so I don't do the colorism thing. But yes, I do feel that the next, I feel, this is my personal opinion, if I'm casting this film, I feel the next Storm needs to be of a darker complexion. That's my opinion. That matches the character a little more. Like, for instance, the two actresses that have played Storm, in my opinion, is a little too light. That being Halle Berry, and that being I can't remember the young lady's name.
Alexandria Shipp.
Alexandria Shipp. Yep, Alexandria Shipp. In my opinion, I feel it was a little bit too light to play her. Should have been a little bit darker. Number 6. Here we have Yetide. How's she pronounce her name? Yetide Badaki. She's from that show American Gods. That's what I've seen her in before. And I do remember. Now, the funny thing is, she is listed up here at number 6 only based on her acting ability, her overall look and acting ability. But she would definitely be disqualified, in my opinion. I think she's a little, I don't want to say a little old, but I think her age is up there a little bit. And on top of that, she's 5'4". I think that's, to me, that's the real big thing. I only didn't put her in the bottom half because she is a good actress from what I've seen of her. She's number 6. Number 5 here we got Tanika Davis. She's a Canadian actress and model, 38 years old, from Toronto, Canada. She's 5'9". Right, she was in TV roles. She was in Canada's Next Top Model. So if she's a model, she's gonna have some height on her. She's 5'9". Most recently, she's been cast as Petra Small in Netflix original series superhero drama based on the comic book series Jupiter's Legacy. So this is her here. As you can see, she has nice bone structure. She's already played a superhero, a comic book character. So that kind of, helps her out a little bit on this list. Next, we have Jodie Turner-Smith. Right?
She's out. Out for me.
She is a British actress and model. She made her feature film debut in the Neon Demon and has since acted in Queen and Slim. She was in the movie. That's what I remember seeing her in the movie Queen and Slim. All right. She's 5'9". Once again, got some height on her because she's a model as well. Nice complexion. There you go. So I have her there. Here's my sleeper. She's number 3 on this list for me. I ranked her up there. She's kind of like a sleeper, not very known. She's a model, right? Anok I might be pronouncing her name wrong, is an American fashion model. She is the first model in South Sudanese descent, right? And second black supermodel after Naomi Campbell to open at a Prada show. She has made several appearances on ID and International Vogue covers, including American Vogue 3 times, right? Doesn't have a lot of acting experience, or you might not know her work, but I do like her height. She's 5'10", right? I like her bone structure. Here's some pictures that I found her. And I actually found one picture of her with a mohawk. She wasn't trying to be Storm, but that was a model picture with her with the white hair, mohawk. I don't know. Now, obviously, my only concern would be her acting ability. I'm not familiar with her work, but I do like, based on look, I like her look, especially with the height. Number 2 could be 1A or 1B for me. I go back and forth. My number 2 is DeWanda Wise. She's on the list. As you see here, she's already been depicted a couple different times as Storm because she was, a lot of people she's been mentioned a lot of times for playing Storm. I do like her acting. I've seen her in the Spike Lee show on Netflix, which is the series of She's Gotta Have It based on the film. And she's 5'6", so that's probably why she's not number 1 for me, because she's 5'6". But 5'6" is not bad. You could, with some boots on, some heels on, whatever, shot the right way, she could still look tall, right? As you can see, here's a picture of her as Storm. This is like some concept art that was used with her. I ain't too in love with the outfit, the way they got it, but not bad. Not a bad look. And for me, my number 1 for me is Miss Anna Jupp. Now, Anna Jupp is she's also American and African and actress. Obviously, most recently, her from the CW, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, Teen Titans, or the show's called Titans, but she played the version of Starfire in the Titans show. right? Titan series. She's 5'9". Oh, she's 5'8", 36 years old. I think that's a good age. Yeah, and for me, she knows how. I love her bone structure as well. She's also been depicted as Storm. Here's a picture of her that some concept art someone did her as Storm. Here's her in the gear for Starfire, but she caught a lot of flack for, by the way. Of course, once again, racist people mad because she was a black woman cast as Starfire, who is actually an alien and is orange. So I don't understand why everybody was so upset because a black woman was cast as an orange alien. Whatever, go figure. So she's used to playing a superhero, and that's why she's my number one. I think she did a good job as Starfire given the circumstances, and I think she can handle the job. She's great, got bone structure, she's beautiful, 5'8". You know, she can be shot properly. I think she'll be a good Storm. So that's out of the top 10 people that's been circulating the internet that I've been watching or whatever, and that's how I came up with that. That's mine. Now I know there's a lot of other people. You know, I know Tika Sumter has been put into the mix. There's a lot of different people. So I don't know if you guys had anybody in mind that may or probably wasn't on this list, because a lot of these people I wasn't familiar with until I did some research on them. Some of them I was like, oh, I did see that person in this particular show. But I don't know. Did any of you have any others that may not have been on the list that you think would be good for the role?
I got two. One, I just think she would be perfect as Yvonne Orji from Insecure. Not only can she can do the accents. Now the height thing, she's 5'6", but like you said, with a pair of boots, you certainly could get up there.
Yeah, I think anywhere from 5'6" and up, you should be that shouldn't hurt your running, in my opinion. 5'6" and above, I think anything under 5'6", in my opinion, if I was the casting agent, would disqualify you, because now we're dealing.
Yeah, 5'3" got to go. No,
yeah, 5'3" definitely not happening. 5'5" is borderline for me. I don't think I would go that route unless they are just so good. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like, okay. I mean, it's just like you make exceptions for certain things if it's not exactly accurate in the character. I mean, hell, Hugh Jackman is way too tall to play Wolverine, to be honest, but he's been a great Wolverine, and everyone sees him as Wolverine, right? And nothing else. But Wolverine is short. Hugh Jackman is like 6 something, right?
Yeah.
But so now, you make exceptions for certain things.
Now my other pick is actually, people gonna sound crazy, but I'm saying this and I mean it. You know, I'm guessing that the role of Storm is gonna be a very physical role, so maybe you need someone that is truly physical to do that. So my wild card pick is Jade Cargill from the WWE. She's got the height. She's certainly lower. I'm looking at her right now. The girl has got the build to be Storm. And she walks around with white hair already. Now, acting is, and I guess it depends on how big a role Storm is going to play. It's not unheard of for a WWE wrestler to be in the movie. I mean, we all love Peacemaker, and it took John Cena a minute to become pretty decent as an actor. So it's not, but I'm thinking from the physical aspect. Like I said, she got the body, she got the look, she got the height. She's 5'10". She's just a walking muscle walking. I mean, I think she'd be very good at Storm.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at. I think. Well, her physique is great, but she would have to. She's got a little too much muscle, in my opinion. She has a great physique, but a little too much. She may have to go a few weeks of not lifting weights and try to, I think that could be a distraction if it's like that. Storm is in great shape, but this girl here, like you said,
It's like Lord. It's like Lord.
I mean,
God damn.
This girl is in perfect shape, like as far as muscle, but it all depends. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm
because
not saying that I wouldn't put it out of the question, not at all. I definitely wouldn't put it out of the question, but at the same time, obviously, it has to come down to some sort of acting ability. I wouldn't want to cast, someone, I mean, hell, to a degree, when you're in WWE, you're acting too. So,
yeah,
and here's her without the white hair, but to a degree, you're acting as well in the WWE.
I mean, look at that look at that picture right underneath the one under the main that you got on the right with her in that. Look at that, like Jesus.
I mean, she got a great body, man. Her those broad shoulders, stuff like that. If you look at that, like I said, she could play a version of Storm possibly, because there were versions of Storm that was drawn of her, and this is comic book stuff, like more of the stuff from the future, where Storm was a little more cut. She had the 6-pack and stuff like that. I remember her being drawn like that, at sometimes in some of the other books or whatever. Like I said, it's not out of the question. Everyone has a sleeper, right? You know what I'm saying? So this could be your sleeper. You know what I mean? She's attractive. She's pretty in the face. She's not unattractive. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes some of the wrestlers get so jacked that they become unattractive. You know what I'm saying? To me, sometimes. But I wouldn't say she's one of them. Like, you look at her, and in this picture, she's not per se flexing. So her curves are showing more than her muscles. See, in my opinion, to play Storm, that's what you need. She has to be more like this and a little bit, maybe a little less, because your physique and your curves should show more than your muscle with Storm. But although she's in great shape, so I can rock with that. I don't have a big deal with it. In the whatever. And you said she's what, 5'10"? She's like 5'10", right? Yeah. That's 5'10". Always a good thing.
Yeah,
you know how I am. I'm always with that. Kev know exactly how I am with height, man, when it comes to women. Like, I'm like, you always in my favor if you got some height on you when it comes to that, especially specific roles. Like I said, that's why it was important for me to put up the thing about Storm. Storm is 5'11". She's a tall, dominating presence, right? She is regal. Not only is she regal and all of that, she is tall. You know what I'm saying? A demanding presence. And you have to be able to bring it. You could bring that as an actor as well. But you that's that's what it is. But that's a cool what you call it. Did she I think I'm looking her up now. I think she might have actually dressed as Storm. There's pictures of
when she was in AEW, she used to come out with the long flowing white hair, looking like Storm.
Yeah. I saw a picture of her here, and she had the white eyes in and everything. That's great. So yeah, there you go. And here's a picture of someone here. I'll share it. An artist. Artists do this all the time. Here's an artist who actually made a picture of her, Storm. He said, "Here's a picture I made of Jade Cargill as Storm from the X-Men." So this picture is her as Storm.
Mm-hmm.
See? It's got the same face structure and stuff of her. And then they put her in the X-Men costume. She's got the ripped midsection there. So yeah, man. Hey, I can't be mad at your pick, because It's possible. You go to a new, fresh face, and she's already. The funny thing is this: from a business standpoint, she already got a following because she's in wrestling, so she has a good
huge
following already. Right, she has a huge following already. And like I said, all wrestlers to a degree are actors. That's why most of them, not most of them, but a lot of them can make the transition to acting because they are acting to a degree. You know,
just give them the right role.
They could do their own stunts. They're physical. Yep. You might be on to something here, Ralph, because it's a big that's a big deal now, because actors that are able to do majority of their stunts is very valuable right now. You know, of course, you got stunt players to do the real dangerous stuff, but actors, they want, for the sake of shots, because bro, let's be honest. When you go back and watch some of the old films, you gotta laugh at the stunt doubles because you could tell the stunt doubles in certain scenes.
Yeah,
even though it's quick shots, you're like, okay, Action Jackson. You're like, okay, that definitely wasn't Carl Weathers.
Ain't Carl Weathers. That ain't Carl Weathers. That ain't Stallone. That ain't Schwarzenegger.
That ain't Schwarzenegger.
But you see a Jason Bourne. No, that's Matt Damon. Yeah. That's Matt Damon. Go.
Exactly. You know, or Chris Evans. Yeah, that's Chris Evans. Yeah. You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
Tom. I think the only person we don't never doubt is Tom Cruise. I think he's the only guy that
he's the only guy that does all, like, pretty much all his stunts. Yeah.
But when
he's
you
trained for it.
Yeah, when you see him, he's like, no, Tom Cruise is really doing that. That's not, no. He really is strapped to the side of a plane. Yes, he really is. Well, it's all CGI. No, it's not. That's a real plane that dude is on the side of.
Yeah. That stunt he did for the last Mission Impossible that just came out.
The motorcycle jump.
Oh my goodness gracious, boy. I'm like, this dude, man. This dude.
He got no fear, man.
This. From the first Top Gun to Top Gun Maverick, that's when he became doing all his stunts, and he was really flying the plane in Top Gun Maverick as well. You know, I mean, not every single move. He wasn't doing all of the stunts and all of the trickery and stuff like that. That was done by pilots, trained pilots. He is a trained pilot, but he's not a trained fighter pilot. So that was done by trained fighter pilots. But everything that you saw in the cockpit was him actually flying the plane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that, of course, Tom Cruise is just extraordinary, and
he needed to be Daredevil. I mean, honestly, he's like the real life Daredevil.
But
I got no fear. I got no fear, man. Okay, he says it's all for the love of my audience. That's what they pay their money. I want to give them what they pay for. So
yeah, he's great. He's the man. And actually, he made a lot of people step their game up when it came to doing their own stunts, because he proved that you can do majority, if not all of them. You could do majority of your stunts if you prepare for it. Especially these dudes that are now coming to the table with the physicality and stuff like that.
Well, but the one thing you're leaving out though is the insurance factor, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of actors aren't allowed to do their own stunts.
Aren't allowed to do it, yeah. Even if they want to,
insurance, even if they want to, the insurance is not going to cover it, so they can't do it in the film because it risks the production if they get hurt. Then they got to the production has to pay that money
which is a perfect segue to our movie review, The Fall Guy. That was one of the things that was covered, kind of like in the Fall Guy movie, which the Fall Guy was actually a film that was done for and by stunt people, right? The director was a stunt guy, and they obviously is based off the show, but one of the things that they talked about or really depicted in the film was Ryan Gosling's character, who was Colt Seavers or whatever, character from the show. He was obviously there to do the stunts. You had the guy who, what's his name? Aaron Taylor Johnson
Yeah.
played, right? And he was the star of the film. And yeah, he was like he had no, he really had almost no athleticism. I mean, he did have a little bit, but he knew his position. I'm gonna do this much, and this stunt double of mine is supposed to make me look good, right? So that film, I thought it was good, like I said, briefly to people, because now, I mean, what's spoiling it? People could watch it on digital now. So you know, basically, instead of taking the exact premise of a stuntman become bounty hunter, it was more or less like, yes, he's a stuntman. An accident happens on us, which is what segue for what Kevin just said. Accidents happen, right? Stunt people get injured. Some of them get killed, right? So, could you imagine being the producer of a film, letting your star person do the stunt, and God forbid he is killed doing that stunt? Imagine the legal ramifications, the PR nightmare that would be, right?
You got Tom Cruise. You saw Misery. You killed Tom Cruise.
But see,
you killed Brad Pitt.
Right, Brad Pitt. Well, Tom Cruise is a different animal because he actually trained for it. He went through a lot of the training that stunt people go through, right? So he put his time and money, his own money invested into training for those things. So yeah, if that happens, people obviously would be devastated, but they won't be looking, it's a whole nother story. That wouldn't be an insurance thing because he But if, like you said, I can't believe you killed Brad Pitt because you made him do a stunt that he shouldn't have did, and then he tried to do it, and he got killed. God forbid, he got killed doing it. So, yeah, that's so. Anyway, long story short, this film is more so like there's an accident that happened. He gets out of the business, then he's called back into the business, and because Emily Blunt's character, who was his love interest, was now a director after years, and he was told that she wanted him in this film, and actually she didn't. She was mad at him because he disappeared after he had his accident. He kind of ghosted her because he felt useless, whatever the case may be. And the producer asks him to find the missing star. Aaron Taylor Johnson's character was missing for some reason. He that people didn't know, and obviously the production didn't know that he was missing, and he was due back on set in a few days, and no one knew where to find him. So she asked Colt Seavers if he could help her find this guy because they had a somewhat of a decent close relationship with him being a stunt double. But keep in mind, he hasn't been his stunt double for several years at this point. So he investigates it for him only because of the fact of when he came back to the thing, he found out that the girl, his love interest, is the director. This is her film. It could go to crap if this guy doesn't turn up. So he's trying to do what he can do to help. That's the long story short to the Cliff Notes version. Basically, it's an action movie, right? So a bunch of action stuff happens. It turns out that dude isn't really missing. He's kind of like being diabolical about stuff, and it's like a whole setup. They're trying to set Colt Seavers up to take the fall for a crime that the star did. So it's one of those things where this girl who's playing the producer, but she's also kind of like a fixer. She's kind of like trying to make sure whatever crime that he committed, I won't tell you the crime so I don't completely spoil the film, but whatever crime that he did, they're trying to pin it on Ryan Gosling's character, Colt Seavers, who is his stunt double for this movie. So everything, they try to successfully pin it on him so he can now get back to finishing the movie and shoot the movie or whatever the case may be. So overall, I thought the film was, I enjoyed it a lot. Thought it was funny in the places it was supposed to be funny. I thought the action was really good in it. It had some nice stunts in it. Obviously, it was directed by a stunt man, so it has some good stunts in it. Good action sequences, good performances from the actors. Ryan Gosling, Aaron Taylor Johnson did a really good job as his character. He was so annoying. And of course, Emily Blunt is everything. You know what I'm saying? She's just everything.
Yeah, she is.
What do you? What's your background? What you sitting in the Millennium Falcon? What's that back there?
That's the throne. That's the throne. That's the throne room.
Oh, the throne room. I couldn't tell.
No, I'm at to see they got that for the Millennium Falcon. Because Joseph Tanner said, "Ralph, said, are you in the Death Star?" Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, the Death Star.
Give in.
Yeah.
Give in.
Do it.
Give in
Do
to
it.
your hate. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
He said, "Do it. Do it."
Yo, wait a minute. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got to give Ryan Gosling some real serious dat, man. The guys are going around for last year as Ken Barbie, but I'm sorry, man. Yo, Ryan Gosling, you killed it on Saturday Night Live with that Beavis and Butthead thing.
Oh,
that was probably the funniest thing,
bro. I was telling Kevin about that offline. That is one of the funniest skits I've seen in a long time.
I was
and big up to Mikey Day, who actually wrote the skit and played Butthead in the skit. He actually wrote that skit, and I give him props for two reasons. Number one, it was a funny skit, and number two, he made what's her name? I forget her name now. Heidi Garner. He made Heidi Garner break. She never breaks. I see her in so many skits, and I've seen her in skits where other people, other cast members, guests, they break down laughing, right? And she never breaks. The fact that she didn't just break, bro, she shattered.
She let it go. She let it. Everybody except Keenan. Keenan was the only kind that sort of kept it together. But but everybody else, I thought that was the funniest thing I had seen in a long. It's the funniest thing since Adele was on, to me. When Adele was on,
I meant that Adele was on there. That was another skit that Heidi was in and didn't break, and had Adele on the one with the African ones when they go to Africa, the white women going to Africa. That skit had Heidi Garner in it, and she was funny in it, and she did not break at all. And she had Adele she was just done for, And it's the funniest skit since that. And I also give props to David Chappelle's skit with the Aunt Jemima. That was a funny skit too.
Oh yeah. That was
Aunt
hilarious.
Jemima and Uncle Ben and all of them. Since that skit, this is one of the funniest since that, where they was Ryan Gosling. And then they reprised it. It was so popular. He actually came for a little bit of time. He came on the red carpet for the opening of The Fall Guy, dressed as Beavis. And Mikey Day came with him as Butthead. So they came as Beavis and Butthead, and they actually crashed Emily Blunt's interview as Beavis and Butthead. It was hilarious.
If they ever had
that
the
might be
idea
their next film, bro,
to do a Beavis and Butthead movie, man, that is an open. That is an opening day. That is an opening day movie right there. Beavis and Butthead. I don't think I put it together.
What'd you say? MTV? You said MTV Films might do it.
Might do that. Yeah,
I can see them doing it because number one, that shit was so funny. It was so popular. The fact that they had to reprise it for the opening of the Fall Guy coming on the red carpet. I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, if you go to that video on YouTube, it's got millions and millions of views on it. People just, when I saw it, I died laughing. I thought it was so funny.
I couldn't even keep it together.
It was like, man. And of course, watching them break makes it even funnier. That makes the skit even funnier because I mean, like, and especially when they went to the email, or they went to Twitter, and someone said someone's comment was, the question was, does Kung Julio need teepee for his bunghole? And I was like, yo, that at that point I was like, I'm dead, as the young kids say. I'm dead.
I was done. I was done.
You going in? You making the jump to light speed, huh?
I'm making the jump to light speed. I'm going to Cornholio. That's where I'm going. Planet Cornholio.
Cornholio need TP for his bunghole. Yo, when I saw that, I died. I was like, yo, this is a funny skit. And at the end of the skit, they had the cats that looked like what was it of the show? With the beer belly and all of them.
Oh yeah, King of the Hill. King of the Hill.
Well, why didn't they make Ryan Gosling lose his beard for this? It would have been even more funny if he would have lost his beard.
Well, I guess for one skit, maybe, I don't know. They could have maybe used prosthetics or something for it.
Yeah.
But it was still funny, though. It was funny as hell. Especially when him looking around. Because, the fact that they're not supposed to be Beavis and Butthead in the skit. They're just guys that look strikingly resemble to Beavis and Butthead. And the fact that they didn't even know each other. Like, according to the skit, he's like, I don't know this gentleman. He's like, how long y'all been friends? And he's like, I don't know this gentleman.
I just met him.
And he's like, I don't know who you're talking about. Like, I have a very busy life. It's just all types of stuff he's saying. But he's like talking, like when he said, it's a guy there who looks strikingly resembling to Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. He's looking around like, huh? And he's looking for people like,
she did not know he was back there. She didn't know he was back there.
No, she didn't. She couldn't have. She couldn't have.
Because the way she smiled, she was like, holy dip.
She's like, yo. And then when Butthead is back there, she lost it. It was that she couldn't even get her lines out. And this is how you know Heidi Garner doesn't break. It was so big that people interviewed her. She was on a show being interviewed about that skit, about her breaking in that skit. And she said that one of the reasons why she never breaks.
Yo, this dude was just like, but now he looks like Butthead.
Yeah, with the gums and everything. And when she turns around, it's a wrap. She's like, oh, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it, yo. And in the interview, they were asking her about her breaking, and she was like, I used to never break because I took it seriously. She's like, I thought I'd get fired if I broke. She's like, that's what I used to think when I first got the job at Saturday Night Live. She's like, I'm from the Midwest, blah, 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 blah. She's like, I never, I took that seriously. So I used to be like, yo, if you break too much and, to it's so bad, like you might get fired. So, but I'm telling you right now, thank God for her. She's a veteran over there now because she would never have kept this together. I don't care if it was her first day.
She is straight up laughing. She didn't know he was back there. She is straight up laughing.
She's
like she bust out laughing.
No, she know they're back there, but they must not have did dress rehearsal like that. She didn't know what he was going to look like.
No, Wes, I'm telling you. She didn't know he was back there.
She knows he's back there because that's part of the skit. She's saying, oh, do you want me to tell him to move too? Mm-hmm. Because he's saying, oh, this guy looks like Butthead. Oh, look, I really want her to learn about AI. Would you like me to tell him to move? Yes, tell him to move too. So she knows that they're supposed to be back there, obviously based on the skit in the rehearsals. But it almost guarantee that during dress rehearsal they were not made up fully. So
yeah, I'm sure about that.
her turning around and looking what they look like and the end result of what they look like, that's what's throwing her off 100%. Especially Mikey Day, because she even said on an interview, she's like, he didn't even look human to me. Like he looked like, she said, I don't know what he looked like, but he didn't even look human. It was just too crazy. And that's what he said too. He said, yeah, I guess he said he's pretty close with Heidi. And he said, it's probably pretty funny that, I got her so out of character, and she said that she told me that I didn't look human. Like that's what she texted me and told me, that I didn't even look human. Like I look crazy. I said, yeah, you look like Beavis. You look like a cartoon character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look like Butthead, not Beavis. You look like Butthead, a cartoon character. So yeah, big up for that. And I agree. I think we all will agree that that might be something that comes down the pipeline just based on the popularity that this skit got. And let's be honest, there's a whole generation of people that grew up watching Beavis and Butthead and would probably go see that film. If there's
I didn't watch Beavis and Butthead, but I did go see Beavis and Butthead, the movie cartoon. I did see the movie, but they did a live action.
Beavis and Butthead came on so late, and I used to watch it because I used to crack up with them just making fun of people's videos. A video would be playing. It was all mostly rock videos. Sometimes they throw a pop video in there, but it's mostly rock videos, and they're just making fun of how people look, how their hair was. I did it, and then in between you see all the little adventures that they go on and little things, and I'm just like, yo, I remember watching that back in the day, bro, and we used to crack up. I used to watch it, and my kid's mother from back then, she used to crack up at that. She's like, yo, they are so funny. And people used to be like, what the hell are you watching? This, but like, yo, they are just wild. If a live action movie, if that comes out, I think a lot of people will go see it, especially after this skit. Mm-hmm. So
I definitely.
But anyhow, that's pretty much that. I think next week I'm gonna save the tournament stuff for next week because we're over time now, and I want to kind of like end the show. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the end of it. Next week I'll go into more detail with the fans and the viewers about the tournament that we got coming down the pipeline. The Battle of Movie Songs. I did explain at the top of the show that it's more so a song, an actual song that was either made for the movie or connected to the movie, whether it was made before the movie and it was just really synonymous with the movie. I said perfect example is Simple Minds, Don't Forget About Me. That is, when you hear that, you think Breakfast Club, and that also was or if you hear I Will Always Love You, you think of The Bodyguard. You don't even think about Dolly Parton, you think about The Bodyguard when you hear Whitney Houston's version. Or My Heart Will Go On, you think of Titanic right out the gate, right? So that sort of thing. So I got that's what I mean by movie songs. And there's a whole list of them that we'll go over next week with everyone. We'll kind of just really spend some time on that and put it out there. So, and we'll go over the criteria. So next week we'll pick that up. And we want to shout out to the chat room, everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody over at Facebook. IG did it to us again. They cut the feed for some reason. We must have said something that they didn't like.
It said that it ends after an hour. That's what the message I got. It said it ends after an hour.
That's what it said. It ends after an hour, but that wasn't the case before. There's times, I don't know. That could be my account. Maybe they restricted me because let me tell you something very, very quickly. I made a comment to someone on IG the other day, and they removed my comment saying that I violated the thing. My comment was, I was talking to I was commenting on a model / actress page, and I told her to, let me know whatever, send her contact, whether like PR, contact info. I would like to possibly get her, talk to her about getting in a film. They removed my comment for that and said the community guidelines was something about trying to get followers and likes by being deceptive or something like that. I was like, what? I didn't say follow me. I didn't say like my comment. I just said, hey, how do I get in touch with your PR or your management or your people to possibly talk to you about possibly getting in a film? And they removed my comment saying like I was trying to get likes and follows on deceptive actions or something like that. Just weird. And like one time I got so that might be my account. Maybe they might have put a restriction on me or something like that, and I could only go live for an hour. Because before, when we first started doing it, the feed would go longer than an hour because I've rewatched it on IG, and it definitely would go longer than an hour. So it was weird. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, still shout out to everybody that joined us on IG. And of course, everyone here on YouTube. We'll catch y'all next week. Thank you very much for joining us. And come check us out next week. What up, Joseph? We appreciate you, brother. Good night, everybody. Peace out.